Okay, so we're starting another recording. Say hello.
Sweet. Hello.
Hello. And welcome to the video. Is it still scrolling?
Yes.
All right, cool, cool. And you can't see my tabs, right?
Nope.
Yay!
I
It
would say
works.
usually for Discord, if you're ever like sharing a screen, it usually only centers on one tab that you choose. It won't go to others.
Well, it didn't, but now it's fixed. What's up,
Yay.
party peoples? I am joined by my friend Lack of a Writer. Say
Hello.
hello. Um, and for a for a brief explanation, I only have a Discord just to stream to like IRL friends, just to help make videos. It's not active. It's really not active. Um, Purely for streaming purposes because there is like nothing else that's out on the market. We
Yeah,
tried streaming,
unfortunately.
well, we tried streaming iPads for a while and it did not work.
No, it did not.
But yeah, um, Writer is a friend I've made at university. Um,
Yeah.
so we chilling. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know. You got anything to add?
Not really.
We did record a video like a week ago, but the whole audio got scuffed. And you don't want to see it.
No, my laptop ruined it. You don't want to see it.
You don't want to see it, and honestly, I might have gotten too excited and spoiled like half of the remaining series, so good thing I'm not posting it.
Oh yeah, true, you did.
Yep, I certainly did.
Viewers, you're not going to pry out to get any information.
No, Ryder will stay quiet. I probably won't.
You with the shush stick or the shushers.
Which, for context, Ryder knows everything up until the second to last saga.
Yeah.
Ryder just, I'll say half of the second to last saga because you don't know the stuff in the actual saga, but you know the stuff that like gives context to the saga. So like we'll just alter
We'll just go
chaos.
with that.
The Kingdom Hearts inspired Sonic fic.
Yep.
The convoluted mess of a storyline.
Hey, somehow it pieced itself together.
I I mean, sure, on a scale of 1 to 10, how coherent would you rank it?
Probably an 8.
You know what? I'll stick with that. That's good.
Again, like my brain doesn't click on stuff easily, so I would have to like reread again.
Oh, says the person who guessed like 5 of the major plot twists.
I don't know how, okay?
Says the person who just went, you know, what if such and such happened? And I just looked at you sitting next to me like, are you for real right now? Like it wasn't even the easy stuff. You just guessed it.
Was I like having trouble with the easy stuff, but it somehow like
Yes.
landslide on the hard stuff?
Like the stuff that wasn't supposed to be hard was like, I don't know. And then you just randomly guessed like 5 plot points that you should not have guessed.
It's that ADHD movie prediction, I tell you.
You know, you know what would make it better too? If you actually knew the plots of some of the Sonic games.
I would say if I knew the games, I'd probably just landslide all of them.
You need, we specifically need to go through Unleashed and Frontiers.
Yes,
And maybe Sonic Adventure. Those are the games that we need to go through.
definitely. So you
Uh,
just guess all the plot points of that.
and don't worry about Generations because Generations is so bad that I overhauled Timekeeper to no end, which is why it's my favorite saga. But yeah, I might have something special planned this semester in terms of my favorite saga that we are
Yeah.
finally kind of sort of getting to, and
Yippee!
that I have been maybe putting off because I've been so anxious to finish Avalon because I'm like, oh, it's all the good stuff that comes after, and if it's not perfect, it's not good enough. And like the entire
Too many
first
what
half,
ifs.
everything up until this point has been building up for Timekeeper and After. I'm not joking. Tell them, writer, tell them.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, oh, I need to make sure that everything comes together and it's not all together yet. But yeah,
Must be perfect.
must be perfect. But yeah, you were reading Avalon the last time that we hung out. And
Yeah.
even though you know how this saga ends, which I don't know, maybe I'll just divulge how Avalon ends in this video. Why not? I'm not doing it with anything else. Not doing it with Timekeeper, not doing it with Warren Mobius, not doing it with the IDW stuff, not doing it with anything else. You get
It's
no
just there.
spoilers out of me. Like,
It's
no,
just a.
but
It's just there
if you
for avoid
guys,
the sticker bar.
yeah, like, if you guys want to guess, like, if you guys want to form theories, the only hint that I will give you is go back and revisit Frontiers,
Pretty much, yeah.
which is not a spoiler for me to say because it is the final saga in the whole series, technically, apart from post series, but that's for later. Um, it's the never ending story.
Oh man, I forgot to put lenses on this character. Crap.
Oh yeah, you're drawing, aren't you?
Yeah,
Ugh.
I don't want to steal your thunder.
Oh, how dare you have a hobby outside of me? How dare you? Blasphemy. Blasphemy.
Bruh.
Blaspheme. You must worship the altar.
What? Brother.
Brother. Scar, brother, help me.
Long live the king.
No.
Say no.
I don't know if anyone's gonna find this entertaining or just be like, wow, this is the writer of Alter Chaos.
Just two friends having fun. Get used to it.
A couple of buds. Ugh, I'm so tired. Anyways, should we go through arc 2 of Avalon?
Yes.
Even though you know the entire rest of the plot. Um,
I predicted the plot of the game.
me me sitting me sitting there. I love how we're sitting there and like we're couch gaming Sonic and the Black Knight, by the way, in preparation for Avalon. And Ryder just looks at me and like I think it's like the third or fourth cutscene and just goes, "Why'd she pick up the flower? Did she just make the flower die? What's with the flower?" And I said, "The flower's not important. Just don't worry about it." And you were like, "No, I'm not convinced."
Well, I'm not convinced. I know you. I know you dirty little tricks. There's something with the flower.
My favorite part of Black Knight is still the fact that they put credits in the middle of the game just to trick you.
Did she?
Like,
That was
why would you
genius.
do that? That is so mean. Like, what if
Like,
someone
oh,
turned off the game and never played it again?
and then only for months later look up and see that actually wasn't the end of the game.
Like, someone to just go, "Oh, I'm bored. Look, there's a new mission. Let's just go do the new mission." And then a cutscene plays, and you're like,
What the heck?
Wait,
He's just gonna do
wait,
music play.
Arthur disappeared? What? Uh, I need to like I should just explain the rest of Avalon, but I also need to write it out like, bro.
Yeah.
Bro, because I want the emotional beats to hit, but also I'm like, can I just go on to
No.
Timekeeper, please?
You just want the timekeeper.
I want to do Timekeeper, dang it, even though it's not ready to be posted. I have a first draft. There is an entire first draft. I will
Noise.
not share it because it's missing like half the plot points that I cut because I was like, nah, this is I was like, this is dumb. I was like, no one's gonna jive with this. I was like, nah, we won't make it more convoluted than it needs to be because time travel and stuff, right? And then I
Yeah.
wrote it and then I was like, I need to add all the stuff back in. It just well, the thing was, I wrote it and then Shadow Gen came out, and I was like, God, now I need to go back and add in all the old stuff.
Yeah.
Now I was like, now I need to add all the old stuff because, like, now it just lands better with Shadow Gen in the mix, and, like, yeah,
Yes.
like, all the little moments and scenes that make everything interconnected. Like, guys, you don't understand. The whole series is interconnected. It is interconnected, and it will never become more apparent than it is in Timekeeper, where, like, time travel. There is
Time travel, just hands.
time travel. There's time travel. How many times have I said time travel now?
Long enough for me not to even count.
like, I just there needs to be just like a giant sign, just like time travel. But I have a question about time travel. But I have a question. Time travel.
With a time
But
travel.
won't that be convoluted? No, time travel. Who got introduced in the second half? Silver. Why Silver? Time travel. But what about time travel? It's like don't
It's
question
giving like your rise with Grug so bad.
it. It's like why is everything time travel? Because everything is time travel, okay? Like the thing, you know the thing, right? Or the thing, the big thing looming over everything, and like my only response to it is time travel.
Like, but how time travel? Can't explain it. Don't want to explain it. Time travel. That's it.
Like if any of you guys are wondering what is the plot of like what is the point of Silver's character, time travel. I
Gosh, it's like
can't
Doctor
I
Who.
can't
Doctor Who.
say
Let's put it there. Doctor Who.
I can't say anything more than that. It's just time travel. Like
Best reference I can make is just Doctor Who.
like I can't even point out the thing that I want to point out because the moment that I do, it clicks together too perfectly to not be that thing.
you,
You know
you
the
just
thing
get
I'm
you have
talking
to hold
about,
that.
right?
Yeah, you just gotta hold that missing piece and above everyone's heads and just like wait for them to try to grab it.
Just like yeah, there's a certain something with Silver's whole I don't even want to call it a character arc because he is literally just cinnamon roll throughout the entire thing, but like the entire crux of like what's Silver's whole thing, what he is doing right now, time travel. The entire plot of Silver Age, time travel. Oh my gosh. Like, and is it convoluted or is it no, here's the word. Is it contrived? Perhaps. But I lean into it for comedy. because there was no other way for me to write this whole thing. And I said, you know what? Let's just lean into how ridiculous it all is. You want to talk about contrivances with time travel and why like we have all the irony of like the audience has figured it out, but none of the characters seem to have figured it out. Let's just lean into the comedy of it. Let's just make it so absurd that the characters don't think about it until it happens. Which is also why I'm not holding out on a certain plot point until War on Mobius, because like at that point it's just like just shut up and get on with it. You know the thing, writer.
Yeah.
The very important thing that has gone over every character's head at this point.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So,
So I've been trying to like eat chips at the same time.
no, you're fine. I'm wondering if I should read the chapters or if I should just like divulge in the Avalon stuff. I feel like I
Just put the title of the stream, just like two friends debating what they should do.
should
Read the lore or talk the lore about another game.
skip to an hour and 45 minutes to get to actual chapter. Alter Chaos creator goes on an insane rant about time travel and won't give us the context, but just keeps waving her arms, going, "Time travel, time travel. the end is nigh. Time travel."
We won't stop talking about time travel.
It's like
That's the best way to put for the title.
it's like the Pepe Silvio meme, the one that they actually did as like a silver meme at one point in IDW, where it's just like, you want to talk about the mail? Let's talk about the mail. He's like freaking out. Oh. Anyways, should we read or should we talk?
I was like, if you want to talk about the, gosh, I'm gonna butcher your name. Good grief.
I don't like.
I was,
I don't have art. I mean, I guess I have that like recent art that I posted. Hang on. Let me like.
yeah.
Let me go to my Tumblr. Hold on. Let's
We're
go
just
to
hearing the
the.
furious tapping.
Okay, let's go to my blog.
I see you scrolling. We got all the Sonics.
Yeah.
Oh, those are funny.
Oh, I'm so excited to do the Titans. Like, oh, Frontiers is gonna be a riot to write. I'm so ready to write Frontiers. Um, oh my gosh, how much stuff did I reblog?
You were blogging a lot of stuff.
I just kind of got, dude, I should do something with Fleetway at some point. That would
I
be
was saying
epic.
that. I love that. Like playing for control. Didn't the creator like make it a Fleetway like a uh DID case almost?
Uh, a what?
DID. It's like a personality disorder. We
Okay,
have
no, um, no, so Fleetway comes from the British Sonic the Comic series. It's it
uh
was like going on at the same time as the Archie comic series. This is not made by this creator. Fleetway has been around since like early to mid 2000s.
I'm sorry, I
Um
knew that. I just didn't know if it was this creator or I'm thinking of another creator because there's two creators who I like or follow who constantly post Sonic stuff,
oh no no no
and
no no
one
no.
of
Fleetway in Fleetway in well, the reason we called Supersonic Fleetway is because the British comic was called the Fleetway, like Fleetway. That was like the title of the
yeah.
comics.
I just
No, Fleetway was a whole separate like like a persona inside of Sonic the whole time. Like that
Yeah.
comes from the comic.
Yeah, no, I just know. Oh gosh, I gotta look up the artist's name. But someone has been making a version of Sonic where he has like three different personalities, like Sonic and Nikki, and then Fleetway.
Yeah, that comes from the
Like, oh
comics.
my gosh, that's gonna kill me. I gotta look it up. But it is
No,
rainbow time.
I know what you're talking about. That comes from the comics. That's not like any one creator, just so you know.
No, it's one. It's just the one creator I follow because I don't follow many people who post like a lot of Sonic stuff constantly. Apart from the guy who used to write and yeah, Endertail.
You'll have to find it and show me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's like, if you're asking me which creator does that, that's like an infinite amount of creators because that's just the
Oh,
plot of Sonic the comic.
oh no, I wasn't asking. It was just like they like. There's one creator who like made it as if it Fleetway and then another personality were part of like Sonic having the ID. Yes, the yummy art. Very yummy art.
I also, the heart of Avalon, that's not just the title of the realm and everything. Like he's the heart of Avalon.
Yes.
Yeah. Look at our boy. I need to dude, I'm so ready to get to this part of the series because this is the good part. So I don't think it's a secret anymore that Sonic has his depression arc and then is like, wait, I realize why it's wrong. Oh my gosh, live life, people, we and all that stuff. Like this is not his moody attitude is not a staple for the rest of the series. Um, gosh, I'm yeah, I adore because I was like for a little bit of context, I started like when I came up with Avalon, I was like, well, what do I do? The game's story is like perfect. I love the game's story. There is no, it's not like Timekeeper where it's like I could improve so much and use like wasted potential. Black Knight
hmm
is amazing. What do I do with that story? And I just said, well, like with Unleashed, I was just like, well, screw it. Let's do something completely original. Um, and for me, I was like, let's flip it on its head. Like, uh, what if Sonic had to kind of learn the lessons along the way. Um
Yeah.
like I was like but like on the same token I want to keep like the uplifting message that's in the game, you know?
Yeah.
Like I always wanted to keep the uplifting live life message. Um and then of course this thing the final boss theme is titled With Me. That's actually the final boss theme, the super heavy metal one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I planned this line for so long where he's like, "She will always be with me," and it's like, "Yeah!" And then just rock music starts blaring in the background. But yeah, so the idea was like the Ghost Girl thing that I brought in at the beginning of Moonbeast, she was originally only going to be in Avalon, and I was like, well, let's tease Avalon a little bit. So I brought it in there, and then I was like, what if she appears later, more as herself? And I was like, that'd be super cute, right? Um,
Yeah.
yeah, which all the chapters are out that kind of explain what Ghost Girl even is. It's just a manifestation of his grief because he can't handle the idea that she's truly gone, you know?
hmm
Um and everything it's not because I've had someone ask me this before, it's not the darkness like messing with him or anything. Like that has nothing to do with it. Um, Purely a manifestation of his guilt. Uh, but yeah, so like I think I left off where like the Percival chapter was, and there should be um I'm gonna find perspective because like this is after the Gwaine scene.
Yeah.
Um which basically I gave Gwaine a backstory for your context writer. I gave Gwaine a backstory where like he was like the son of a king of like a neighboring kingdom that like basically like kidnapped children and forced them into like a knighthood type thing.
Mm,
Um so Arthur rescued him. So we learn about a side of Arthur that is like good and benevolent and gentle and everything, which kind of like builds up to the whole what happened? Like how did
yeah.
he become like this evil tyrannical king, right? Um so it continues to like kind of build up and everything. And uh I love this chapter, the More to You chapter, which is like the scene following the Gwaine fight. And like I
Oh,
just went like,
okay.
huh?
I said, ooh, okay.
Yeah, so like I just went like crazy where it's like Gawaine's doing the whole like only death can remove the stain upon my heart. Like he's doing that whole scene. Um and like I this might be I think this is my favorite saga for writing Sonic's character because like I'm like let him be angry. Like let him be angry but also let him be Sonic, right?
Yeah.
So like he gets mad for a moment cuz he's like, you know, he's like there's nothing glorious about this and everything. Yada yada yada. They fight a little bit and then like I was like cuz like I tried so hard and like of course if you come across anybody like this you don't want to like this is not how you handle it right
Yeah.
um but I was like again you need like every character apart from two characters in Alter Chaos every single character is imperfect in some way and I did this
Yeah.
intentionally. The only two who are like not imperfect are Silver because Silver is Silver.
He's this boy.
Um, Silver is absolutely Silver. I guess you could say his flaw is like that he's naive. He's not even naive. Well, that's the thing is like he's not even naive because I wrote in like the Silver and Knuckles chapter, he is aware of how dismal everything is. He is completely aware, and it gets to him from time to time. Um,
hmm
but like Silver is just Silver, okay? And then of course there's a villain later on in the series that I said, no, you get no redeeming qualities. You're just gonna be the crazy psycho killer kind, okay? I said we need a Disney villain somewhere in here, and this is going to be the Disney villain, um, which you guys aren't ready for because I am so giddy writing this character. Um, I when I saw this character in like the canon material, and I can't tell you which canon material that they're from, and no, it's not Infinite. Infinite's got his whole backstory we'll get to eventually. Um, but like this character, I read the canon material and just went, oh, I'm gonna go all in. Like I was like, no, we're gonna lean so hard into this because like first of all, I hate this like I love the way this character is written in the canon, and I love to hate them. It's one of those characters where it's like I'm going to hate this character viscerally, but that's the point, you know? Where it's like the writers did their jobs. And
yeah.
I was like, I just want to like take it to like the nth degree for no reason other than like let's just like go all in on the angst. Let's have fun. Um, but yeah, like so like you can see here, Sonic's still not like over it. Um, and then like yeah he begins to storm off but then we get like the Sonic moment, right? Um,
The
and
poor
then
boy.
he gives like a little bit of a speech, and I love this one. Like, I have an older brother. He told me that even though we make mistakes, sometimes big ones, we have to learn how to forgive ourselves and keep moving forward. There is more to you, Gawain, far more than just chivalry or knighthood. You just need to see it. Um, and then of course we get Hero of Mobius because he is. He always was. Um,
Yes.
he would also want me to tell you that burden isn't just yours to carry, yada yada yada. Caliburn is proud of him, my son. So find them, the people who want to see you live. The world is better with you in it. We get the amazing Sonic line. Um, and then of course this line, like this line alone. So like Gawain is stationed upon like a stony altar that's similar to Angel Island. And remember what happened the last time he went to Angel Island?
Yeah.
Apart from the ending of Moon Beast, that's besides the point. So like he comes up to the stony altar and he's like starting to get like some flashback stuff. He finally left the stony altar behind him. He's like starting to move on. So that's where like we're at, right? Um
Yes.
he's starting to like find peace and everything. And oh yeah, and then you know about all this. Like Arthur fell into a life of darkness. Gawain remained loyal at his side, and Lance, the sword grimaced. You know about all that.
Yeah.
I told you about all that before, but which we'll get to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Viewers, you don't get to know.
the boy lost someone important to him as a result of Arthur's fall from grace. Cal, please, that is all I wish to say on the matter. We will get to Caliburn's backstory. I gave him a backstory, and I have no regrets. The other option for Avalon, I almost considered doing this, and you're gonna laugh when I
Oh.
say this. I almost considered making every single sword like some sort of sentient sword. I almost did what I did with Moonbeast, and I was like, wouldn't it be hilarious if Sonic has like 12 different voices on his hip, just like, blah, 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 and he's like, shut up! I was like, it'd be so funny, but it would take away from the bond of like just Sonic and Caliburn. So I didn't want to do it,
Yeah.
but like, oh man, the idea was so entertaining, and I almost
Funny
did
thought.
it. It was so entertaining to consider. Um, there's a lot of different versions of these sagas that like have gone through my head over the years, but
So you always do like uh gosh, like a silly little section of just having 12 swords.
I could say I for real almost made every sword a sacred sword, and like Gawain's like blades were going to be like twins and everything. Like it was gonna be a whole bit. It was going to be an entire bit. Um and I was like laughing conceiving this idea. And then I was like, wait a second, but then like the heart to heart between Sonic and Caliburn later can't really happen if that happened.
I just
Um,
imagine the poor boy just like sitting in the middle. You have like almost 12
well,
different sentient swords just dissing on him for his little chivalry.
well, because the other problem is too, if every sword was sentient, I'm not gonna give details yet, but it would immensely take away
Yeah.
from the weight and gravity of Caliburn's backstory
Hmm.
and how much it actually like influences Sonic going forward. It would take away from that. So I was like, as much as I love this idea, I can't work it in. I was like, I can't work it in. Um,
Yeah.
which was such a bummer, but like, yeah, I had to scrap it because I was like, I couldn't find a way to make it work. Um, but yeah, Sonic starts to like, recall like all of his feelings, all the things he's gone through that. And then we get to this moment. What kind of a hero makes his friends cry like that? Like he's it's meant to trick you as a reader
Yeah.
because like this looks like, oh, he's heading in the right direction. Kind of. I failed where it counted most, just being there for them. It's like, okay, you're right there. But then my friends, they deserve better than that. She deserve better than that. It's like, oh, you're not quite there.
Yes.
Like, Sonic does need to just be there for his friends. He doesn't have to prove himself to his friends, but also now he's still putting all of his weight into like his heroism and how he shows up for others, instead of just like, valuing himself as a person.
Yeah.
Because again, remember when my character was in the story, when she was still in the story, um, spoiler alert, she dead.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, she dead. We'll touch on that again later. Um, she was very much the one. She was the one who more or less gave Sonic permission to see himself as a person. And I intentionally set it up this way because it's like, it's like he's getting that external validation, so he's not yet had to look inside himself for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now he has to look inside himself for that. He has to like complete his character arc. It's the one thing he's been missing this whole time. And like similarly, like her whole thing is like, you know, um, like I need a place where I can belong. I need uh like just like her feelings of self-worth and everything, and she like clutched onto that so externally through Sonic, right? Um
Yeah.
and we're not going to count the ending of Moon Beast. We're just not, because that was not self-acceptance. That was more or less her going nihilistic a little bit, but more on that later. Um But yeah. So like of course I'm not giving up on them. Spoken like a true knight. Let's do it to it and everything. And it's like, oh, it seems so triumphant. And then I love the final line of this chapter. But even as he ran, the vengeful ghost followed, watching him with disdain.
Uh,
He's not over it yet. He thinks he is. He's tricking himself into being over it. He's not over it. Um
self manipulation. We love it.
Not so much self-manipulation or anything. Where's the Oh, I think it's in my work in progress chapters. Well, time to go
Bam.
to my work in progress. And we're just not gonna pass go. We're not gonna collect $200. We're just gonna go straight to postal. Okay. Um. Yeah. So like, this is very much like work in progress. I haven't worked on this in months. Um. But like, yeah, he starts talking about Tails in this chapter. If you remember at the start of the saga, there was what was the very first scene? It was excuse me, it was Tails showing up to Sonic's house and like trying to like be like, hey, like, we're here for you, we're all here for you, and Sonic was still like shutting all of that out, right?
Mhm.
Um, so of course we gotta bring Tails up into this, right? So they're talking about thermostats. I love this whole bit. If you know where I can find a thermostat, Callie, it is Caliburn, you knave. He shook off the unintended insult. I dare not even ask what a thermostat is. Knowing you, it is most probable that it is some sort of torture device in the world you hail from. Sonic chuckled, rubbing his nose slightly as he continued his pace, only when Tails gets a hold of it. I I love
uh,
that little bit, but it allows us to transition into the whole Tails thing. He's one of great importance to you, and Sonic gets pensive again. And then we get this line. It just didn't hit me until now how worried he must be.
mm,
So yeah, are you troubled because of your being here in our world? No, that's not it. He knows Tails is worrying about him, but he's kind of like in a way forcing himself to move on quicker than he's ready to, so that he can like, oh, I need to show up for Tails and everything now. Baby, you need to show up for yourself. You do need to show up for Tails, but you also need to show up for yourself. Um so yeah. I said I was going to be there for him, all of them from now on, right? So when I get home, I'm His missing friend's dead eyes pierced him worse than ever before. So like right on that cusp, like
Hmm.
he's forcing himself to smile right here, right? So like he's
Oh
forcing
yeah.
himself to smile. He was about to say like when I get home, like I'm gonna I'm gonna go back out into the world. I'm gonna like, you know, integrate back into the world and everything. He still does not feel ready.
Ah.
But then we get this line like he had to for them. Which no, Sonic, we're gonna go back into the whole cycle if we do that again. Um
Yeah.
I forgot that I wrote this as a gag at like 3 in the morning. I think I was drunk when I wrote this. I need to catch my breath. Do you want do you want to read this?
Is that all right? Uh, the hero Mobius leaned forward with an in good grief, my throat. Sorry. Okay, the hero of Mobius leaned forward with an inquisitive yet playful glance as he rubbed his chin in fake contemplation. Let me guess, please. Purple cat leapt forth. Sonic snapped his fingers in victory. Hell yeah, victory dance!
But then he began to do his own little jig. And then perhaps my favorite line, Caliburn sighed in embarrassment. My lady, I request thy aid, for I do not know.
Oh boy.
I wrote that drunk for the record. Yeah, no, this is like the legit version is like yeah, still getting the snark in, like, alright, Sparky, time to go boom, Avatar The Last Airbender reference. Um
Yes.
but Sonic, the villainous hero was ready. Sonic, baby. Yeah, Percival goes meow meow meow. Percival blushes because hot hedging. Yeah. Yes, I am going with the headcanon that Blaze has a secret crush on Sonic, and no, I will not apologize for it. Um, but that brings me to the end of like the whips and stuff, right? Um,
Yeah.
so now for the juicy rest of Avalon. Are we excited?
Yeah.
But first, I need a restroom
Crap,
break.
can I get that? It's just
I will pause my audio
all right.
very briefly. BRB.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Dance. Well, we're going to take care of this. Hmm. There we go. Nice little texture.
Okay.
Yay!
Yay. Um, so yeah, let's talk the rest of Avalon.
Yippee!
Whee! Um, so yeah, so from the Percival one, he obviously beats Percival. I've thrown around a few ideas for like a Percival backstory, one of which that she is like she's actually a princess that wanted to like prove herself as a knight and Arthur like let her, so she like uh defected essentially and went to his army. Like I don't know. I had like a whole idea. Um
Ooh, okay.
it was kind of interesting, yeah. Where it was like Arthur stands women. Like we're really gonna build up the fact that Arthur was a good guy. Like Arthur was very much a good guy. Um and essentially uh they sort of finish up and just like the game, Merlina appears again. Or I'm thinking like maybe they go back to like Nimue's village because I do want them to go back to Nimue's village and Nimue's people. We're integrating them a bit more into the story. Um, so they go back and everything, and Merlina shows up, and I forget what I wrote exactly, but like it's kind of like the whole congratulations thing, uh, and basically like I don't know, like something is going to be off. Um,
Yeah.
and I think I wrote it because I did these speech to text chapters. I like speech to texted all the notes while driving a while ago, and I'm pretty sure like it's the very end of arc 2. I'm pretty sure at the very end, like we get this like bombshell reveal that Caliburn's talking with Nimue, and Caliburn is like uh okay, like he basically like parrots the plan of like, okay, we're gonna get the scabbard, we're gonna destroy it. Um, and then he makes a request, and
Oh.
his request is that once they do, Nimue destroys him,
Oh.
and that's where we leave Arc 2 off because Caliburn
Okay.
doesn't want to be the invincible, like he doesn't want to like anyways, I can't
Yeah.
finish that sentence because it plays into stuff, but he's like, you must do away with me as well. And you're like, huh. So then we get arc 3, and arc 3 is basically just game. It's basically just the fight with Arthur. It's just like, then I will survive. It's like all the cool stuff, like Sonic's like, yeah, and everything. Um, but where it's interesting is that like I want this fight, like Sonic's just all, oh yeah, like he's just like doing his thing. The
Yeah.
emotional crux of this fight is like feelings between Arthur and Caliburn. Okay, so like we get like these little exchanges. It's mostly like the game and everything. Everything's fine, hunky dory. They down Arthur and everything, and like Arthur says something to Caliburn, and now Caliburn, um, he has a little bit of a will of his own. Like you could see over here, like what he does in the game, right? He like forces Sonic's arm up to like defend, and then he gets shattered in like that
Yeah.
one cutscene and everything. Um, so Arthur's down, and Sonic's ready to like, all right, let's like, all right, we'll like, fight's over or whatever. And Caliber like in a moment of just pure rage forces the hand down and like strikes down Arthur himself.
Oh.
Um, which it's like, but I have to like the hard part is I have to balance that because like obviously I can't have Sonic take it personally. We're not there yet. That is not something that Sonic is going to take personally.
Yeah.
It really needs to be Caliburn's kill. But Caliburn in some capacity is the one to finish off Arthur.
Yes.
Like it's like a moment of like rage. It's like if anyone has played Kingdom Hearts 3, it's kind of like the whole like Axel Axel Sayek's dialogue where it's like you would let them reduce you to this and everything. It's like that whole thing. Um and like so he strikes down Arthur. They uh take the scabbard and they go back to Camelot and like they're victorious and like I think Sonic would have something to say to Caliburn, but like Sonic is not taking that as he did something. Um and I don't know how to write that yet, but
Mm.
somehow that's how the plot goes down. So anyways, they end up back in Camelot and they have the scabbard and everything and like something like Merlina's plans are kind of like coming to the surface and
Yeah.
everything and like all the knights are cornering her and Sonic's like, "Whoa, what is this about?" and everything. And this is where we're going to have a slight deviation from the game. Are we
Oh.
ready? So
Yes.
so Merlina tells Sonic her plot. Straight up tells him.
Oh boy.
And like everyone is arguing with her like she's like I can create a kingdom that doesn't end, like no one will ever have to die again, whatever. And everyone is like, Merlina, it's time to move on. Like it's time to put our past behind us. It's time to move on. And we start like this is where like it comes out that Merlina has grief, obviously. And that she's grieving over losing her grandfather Merlin. Um
Oh.
I won't tell you how yet. Um but yeah, so like they're having the back and forth and everything, and then that's where I'm gonna go back to the because I've been working on like a plot script thing. It's
Yeah.
old. It was when I like went away from like social media and stuff. But like as you can see on the left side, it is all the storylines until the very end of the series. Um, but we have the Avalon bit. We have the Avalon bit for this scene. So I
Mm.
do want to read this. So she's pleading. And then this is interesting. Merlina's eyes plead with his. Sonic, I only wish for what is best for this kingdom. Lancelot presses harder. If you use that scabbard, you will be no better than the former king. Sonic, please. Her eyes dart to the echidna behind him. Sir Gawain, he will understand. Gawain falls silent as he begins to tremble. He clenches his fist as he recalls the kind man he once knew rescuing him from such a horrid fate, though he knew deep in his heart that that man was long gone now. Lancelot is right, Merlina. It is time we put our past behind us. Percival draws her blade. How can we ever hope to move on in a kingdom with no end? Caliburn's eyes narrow. An eternal kingdom built on nothing but pain will only serve to exist in endless suffering. His voice softens in sympathy as a palpable tension lingers in the air. So something I'm thinking about doing too is that like because I want to kind of like explain a little bit because I was like I feel like if Merlina's like oh and then everybody was happy, I feel like that would be like a little antithetical. It kind of
Yeah.
goes into my problems with the Persona 5 Royal ending, and that gets into certain sagas that were inspired by that and everything. And like, because like, all I'm gonna say is if I had the power to create eternal happiness at the snap of a finger, I would do it. I'm just gonna say
Yeah.
it. I'm just gonna say it. Call it my character flaw. I don't care. But yeah. But anyway, so like it's kind of like if they're in like a state of turmoil, it's kind of like how Seven Rings put it, where it's like a state between like life and death. Like eternity means that like time cannot move on,
Yeah.
and they will forever be trapped in their grief, essentially.
Mm.
Uh, Yeah, because like yeah, because I also never understood why in the game, like, when she goes, I'm gonna create an eternal kingdom, like, everything starts getting destroyed. I'm like, I can see the implications, but also this logistically just makes no sense. Um,
Yes.
yeah, Merlina, it's time we let go of our grief and look towards the future of Avalon. She turns, tearful eyes begging in one last plea for the hero she summoned to save her. Sir Sonic. Sonic's breath catches, his blood running cold. She holds out her hand with a smile. Please, join me. Let us create a kingdom where no one ever has to die again. And this
Mm.
and I set up for this earlier on. I will pull up the chapter that set up this plot point, this plot twist. He thinks back to the girl sitting on the bed beside him. I he thinks about how he denied her the comfort she sorely needed that final day. Yeah, that moment at the end of Moonbeast where like she begs him to like take her hand and he says I can't, like that line that follows where it's like he regretted it. He
Yeah.
regrets that for the rest of his life
Aw.
for multiple reasons as we'll get to, but he regrets that more than anything else he ever did.
Aw.
Um, yeah, that messes with him. And that messes with him like well into the end of the series.
Ugh.
Um, yeah, we'll get into more of that detail later, but thinks about how he denied her the comfort she sorely needed. I He reaches out, Caliburn jolts, Sir Sonic, don't. But it was too late. He'd already made up his mind the moment he heard of the sword's immortality.
Oh.
I will. He takes her hand, a dark look entering his gaze. I debated for so long. I debated for so long if Sonic should actually go villain for a hot second. I debated for so long. Merlina smiles joyfully. Thank you, Sonic. And that's where that snippet ends. I debated forever if I should have him go villain or not. You have no idea. Now, villain, no. Moment of weakness? Oh, yeah. I debated it for so long. But I was like, he's not at the end of his arc yet, so, like, he's not gonna, he's not gonna have the tools to, like, tell her that she's wrong yet. Um, so I debated. I really like this idea that he kind of, like, gets in his own head for a moment. And, like, as I told you, like, I don't want to spoil that yet. There's something about Merlina that reminds him of my character. And
Oh.
when he sees her reach out the hand, that's why all he can see in his head is her like begging for him to like take her hand and he won't deny her that again.
Aw.
But what happens when he hands over the scabbard? Well, because I noticed too in the game, I'm like, he just hands over the scabbard while she's going on like a villain monologue, and I'm like, Sonic, what? it's like that's like one thing in the game that was just like, why would you just hand it to her? But whatever, we got like the amazing second half of the game out of it. But I was like, yeah, what if like he actually just hands it over willingly? Um, And then, of course, everyone's like, what have you done and everything? And she, stabs it into the ground, and all of a sudden, everything starts like destroying. Everything starts crumbling apart. And Sonic's like, wait, what? And like, and it kind of like comes to light of like, you can't create eternity without destroying like the present. Like, you can't create
Yeah.
eternity without like destroying what is there. Um, and again, it'll be locked in that like dance of eternal suffering and everything, right? So so Sonic's like, wait, this isn't exactly what I wanted. And everyone's like, we have to go, and she's like, okay, fine, go out and see the kingdom I'll create. You'll change your mind. And
Ooh.
he goes, and And no, I am not going down the route of like, oh no, someone innocent dies and Sonic has to like, we're not doing this to Sonic. Sonic has been through enough. Unlike probably a lot of other fan fictions, I am not going down the over the top angst route. But, but there are going to be some consequences, and some of those consequences are that like essentially they're going back through Camelot, and Sonic and the others have to stop and rescue everybody because like their homes are getting destroyed.
Hmm.
So like we're not gonna lose anybody life wise. All the no villagers are gonna die. There's not a massacre. Yes, there was a version of that. I cut that completely because I was like I was like this would ruin the rest of Avalon. Um,
Yeah.
but the people lose their homes. And I'm thinking, and this is kind of something I just jotted down in my head right now, like Nimue eventually confronts him and is like, like I believed in you. Why would you do this and everything? But they escape Camelot. There's no casualties. We're just going down that route. There's no casualties or anything. They escape Camelot, and this is where I am going to have so much fun drawing this scene. So much fun. Because everybody is confronting him and everyone's like, why would you do this? What's wrong with you? Like, everyone's just on Sonic. And, like, through all of this, like, he sees all the destruction. Like, Ghost Girl's there. Everything is just hitting the breaking point. We're at the breaking point. And that's where we get Sonic's meltdown. Absolute meltdown. Um, and like I think I have the speech to text version of this. Hold on. I think it's under work in progress, Avalon. No, it should be Arc 4. Unexpected twist, breaking point. It should be breaking point. So yeah, the incoherent speech to text. But this just sums it up. I think I need to just read this. Um, so ignore all the typos and everything. This has not been actually written out. Again, speech to text. This chapter will be drawn. Sonic and the Knights end up leaving Camelot. They look back. They see a destruction. Yada yada yada. Lancelot's the first to lash out. Which you give her the scabbard. Uh, yeah. Sonic loses it at this point. Like he has flashbacks. He's like, "Oh, you had faith in me? I told you not to have faith in me. So why would you put your trust in me, huh? Yeah, I told you I'm not a good guy. I told you I'm a villain. I told you. Uh, I told you I'm the one who brings destruction." And they're like, something something, and then like he keeps reiterating it. Um, I told you you had the wrong one, but did anyone listen to me? No. All of you keep talking about chivalry and what it means to be a knight, and you all think I have it. Um, like you all think I have it, and he's like, hell no. He's freaking out. I'm not a hero. I'm just a failure who can't save anyone. I'm the monster who brought about the end of the world. Um, Oh, I love this part. Percival cuts in. I haven't read this in forever. Percival cuts in and is like, something about like, uh, the kingdom never ending, and then Sonic literally cuts in and goes, "Good, let it never end, because maybe that way no one would ever have to die again." Like Sonic's just like, "Fine, let it happen." I have a drawn in early, I'm talking like early 2024, late 2023 sheet. Um, where it's like an Avalon concept sheet with like a tiny bit of forces in there. And
Ooh.
like one of the images is like Sonic like he clutches the lock and he like turns around and he's like, maybe Merlina was right, and it's like, oh baby.
You
Yeah, he's like
need Snicker
freaking
bars,
out.
boy.
Yeah, the world cannot exist. Who says it can't exist, who says people have to die, yada yada yada. They're trying to kind of talk him down because they're like, okay, he's losing it at this point. Um, and then like all the knights are like, you taught us the value of what it means to live. Why would you do this? Like, um,
Yeah.
da 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 da. Oh yeah, I also put in here that I was going to like steal an Axel line from Kingdom Hearts, where it's like, how would you know that everybody thinks they're right? It's a whole line. It blew my mind. Yeah, I stole another Axel line for Moonbeast, by the way. Where they're having ice cream because like there's a massive plot point in 358 where like three friends have ice cream every single day and it's a whole thing. Um,
Yeah.
so I stole one of the lines about ice cream.
Yeah.
um, da 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 da. Yeah, maybe Merlina was right. Um, they're like, why did you want to keep the scabbard for yourself? Did you want to be invincible? He's like, yeah, what of it? So like, if you remember at the end of the arc one with Nimue, where they were
Yeah.
like, where they were like, yeah, we'll get the scabbard and then we can destroy it once and for all. Remember, Sonic hesitated. He was like, destroy it, and they're like, yeah, is that a problem? And he went deadly quiet.
Mm.
Yeah, he was immediately thinking, well, if that's an invincible power, I could have used it to protect everybody. Um, yeah. Uh, they're like, how could you lie? We believed in you. Um, and then that's where we get the crux of this. Sonic finally says, maybe she wouldn't have died. And that's where
Mm.
you get kind of like Caliburn space. Like Caliburn's like Caliburn knows and everything. And then somebody's like, who's she? And that's where Sonic runs off.
Mm.
He runs away. And I'm so excited. I'm so excited for that whole next scene because, like, yeah, we're gonna have a little scene of the knights coming together and being like, well, you know what, we lost our Sonic, but we have ourselves, we have our lives, we will band together and fight Merlina ourselves. Um, so the knights are gonna band together. Um, but Sonic, we get an entire chapter, and I want to draw it. And like, for context, my senior thesis in my undergraduate degree was on
Mm.
nonverbal storytelling, was on
Ooh.
like visual and nonverbal storytelling, and I really want to like I want to like write a poem like I do in every single saga. Like it's a trend now where in every saga there's going to be a poem at least once. And
Yeah.
I really want to write some kind of poem, and it's like essentially like the ghost girl's like her it's like her hatred, like her visceral hatred, and like basically like Sonic reflecting on like himself and everything. It's like that whole thing. Um
Yeah.
but the entire chapter is just Sonic running away, like running away from his guilt, running away from like everything that's happened. And each panel I want to do like a different art style. So like art deco, like Renaissance style. We go with like the super minimalistic style. Like I want to like go crazy with like the art
Mm.
in this chapter. Because it's like I want to like exemplify all of these emotions in
Yeah.
the art. Like just purely in the art, I want to do all these emotions. Um, and then that's where we start to get into arc 5, and eventually you have like the snowy woods that are in like the second half. The one you remember, right, where we were playing and I was like, oh, these stupid trees, like the trees kept smacking me and stuff and I kept trying to fly
Yeah.
over them with Gwaine. um Sonic ends up in like the snowy forest, and he's crying, he's having a meltdown. Like that's where he finally ends up. He like is just crying. He's broken at this point.
Oh, the
He's
poor
broken down.
boy.
The poor boy has broke down. Um and like Ghost Girl's watching him and everything. Um and like I forget what exactly I wrote, but something something like Caliburn prompts him, and Sonic finally like opens up and lets out what happened. And not like every gritty detail, but he talks about like how he had like his body taken over, and like how he'd attacked his friend, like he'd attacked his friends and everything. Um and then this is where the mic drop happens.
Oh.
And you know what I'm talking about. This is where the mic drop happens, and Sonic's like, it just it felt like I was, and then Caliburn interjects with a living weapon,
Mm.
and Sonic's like, what? And
Mhm.
like And Caliburn goes silent, and then that's where Sonic, it clicks for Sonic. He's like, wait, that's right. Caliburn is a sword. And this is where
He's
we
not
get
ready.
this is where we get his backstory. And I wrote down notes. They were in the old Discord server. I don't have them anymore, but I wrote down extensive notes, and I can still visualize it all in my head, thank goodness.
Mhm.
Because I want to do it to music, no dialogue for this backstory. Um, but essentially, Caliburn was forged by Nimue, gifted to Arthur, which is accurate, by the way, to Arthurian legend. Arthur did not pull the sword from the stone, at least not like initially in like true legend and everything, right?
Yeah.
He gets gifted to Arthur. Like it kind of starts out as this like mentor mentee type relationship. Um, and like I want to play the music that like I would totally play. Hold on, I gotta grab the music. Wait, I don't want my YouTube show. I gotta find the. Hold on. You can't see the you can still see like the chapter, right? Or the art.
uh, yeah.
Okay, good, good, good. Um, let me find it was Edge of Dawn instrumental. Here it is.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
One? No, I don't think this is the one. Oh yeah, this is the one. This is the one. Like this is the music that I want to play during this whole like scene. Okay?
Ooh.
I'll turn it down slightly. This is Caliburn's backstory music. And if you go through like the pages for like all the different sagas on my Tumblr, which I need to relink so you can actually see them, Edge of Dawn is actually the opening theme for Avalon.
Oh.
So again, leitmotifs in the music. We will come back to leitmotifs later because like Timekeeper is like, oh, like that's all Timekeepers. We're crying out loud, Timekeeper is insane. But like we get Caliburn's backstory and like he starts out like he's getting forced. He starts out as kind of like a mentor, and we see that him and Arthur end up becoming really close. Like they're like joined at the hip, literally and metaphorically. They're like joined at the hip. Like they, they're like brothers. Okay.
Okay.
They're like brothers. They love each other so dearly, and like especially here we see it in the music. But like the brothers, they train together. They sit together at the table. They're equals. They're like brothers, and eventually, and I'm thinking too that like Arthur is going to be based off of Elias Acorn from the Archie comics. Which, if you don't know who that is, like look him up. He's like a prince, king, all that stuff. But Arthur's dad dies, and then Arthur has to take up the throne very suddenly, and he's like a teenager-ish at this time, uh, Merlin is his advisor. Merlin has tiny little baby Merlina, with him. Lance is like basically the adoptive student of Guinevere, who is a studying scribe and who is also based off of Maria. And so they're all living in the castle together and stuff, but Arthur has to go off to war, has to free all these kingdoms. We see what ends up happening when he goes off to war, right? Like Gawain gets freed, Percival gets freed and everything.
Yeah.
But we start to kind of see more change Arthur a little bit. Like he's starting to become a little more aggressive. He's starting to, he's starting to not be well mentally and everything. Like it's taking a toll on him. And we see like during more and more like meetings at the round table and stuff, like Arthur's starting to lash out, Arthur's starting to argue more and everything. Um, I'm trying to keep up with the music, but like, and eventually him and Merlin get into like a heavy spat. But there's going to be some visual representations of like Caliburn is going to start being leaned against the wall. He's now being more treated like a tool than a person. Um, like he's kind of off to the side, but then eventually we see Arthur like suiting up and everything. We see Caliburn get grabbed, and he doesn't know where they're going. Caliburn's just waking up, and Arthur kills Merlin with Caliburn.
Nope.
And just slashes him. Caliburn's screaming at Merlina to run. Merlina runs. Arthur takes down Guinevere. Lancelot runs while Lancelot's not loyal to Arthur. Arthur just snaps. And he goes on a killing spree and kills everybody in Camelot.
Wow.
He kills them all. And he even tries to call upon Excalibur's power, and Caliburn refuses. He's fighting back against him. And Arthur, rageful that Caliburn won't do his bidding, just throws him down like he won't use him that. And then that's where we end up cutting to the final scene, which is Arthur holding Caliburn against a gray and raining sky. Very similar to how we first see Sonic, right? Caliburn is dejected, he feels lost. And like Caliburn's dejected, he's lost, he's like, I just murdered my my fellow like people and everything. And Arthur kind of looks like you have one final chance. Caliburn won't give in, so Arthur takes him and stabs him into the stone. And that's why, and because Arthur was the only one worthy, nobody can remove Caliburn.
Until Sonic came along.
We'll get to Sonic later. The book was like, oh, we need a replacement. New king.
New king.
But in all seriousness, nobody could remove Caliburn, and Caliburn was just left in the stone. But Nimue still watched over him and everything. And that's where eventually when Sonic gets, brought into the story and everything, that's why he was kind of guided towards the stone. So yes, in my version of Black Knight, Arthur is an actual living, breathing person, not a conjuration made by Merlin. And that's why him and Caliburn have such bad blood between them, and why Caliburn is I will strike him down. I will be the only one to strike him down. Because he feels it is his responsibility. But yeah, so we get the backstory, and Sonic realizes holy crap, what do you say after that? And then but that's why also that's why we get certain scenes. And I want to go back to the Arc 2 chapter of where's Avalon? I want to go back to the Arc 2 chapter Distractions that happens right after the Lancelot thing, because that's why we get, that's why Caliburn goes really quiet after fighting Lancelot and everything. And that's why this chapter especially just does it. But that's why Sonic is running around, he's finally feeling happiness, and then that's why we get this moment. Hey, Caliburn, do you think it's okay to be happy, after you've done something bad? Caliburn's eyes widened as he processed the question. He sighed before following the hedgehog's gaze skyward as well. I have not the answer, though I do not believe anyone does. Alas, would there be any harm in trying? I don't know. It adds more weight. It adds more context. It also adds to, why Caliburn was you need to destroy me as well, and why he ultimately does that in the later fight with Merlina.
Aw.
and everything. Um, yeah, so like essentially, you know, and Sonic realizes he's like, wait, so that's why you took pity on me. And it's like, yeah, Caliburn saw like even when Sonic said like, "Oh, I'm such a villain" and everything, Caliburn saw that same look in his eyes that he had after he'd slaughtered everybody.
Oh.
And that's why Caliburn was like, "I'm taking you under my wing." Because he did not want Sonic to become like Arthur. He didn't want
Yeah.
Sonic to fall down the same path as Arthur. So that's why Caliburn took it upon himself to like, be sassy, to like I mean like he's always been sassy, but like to just ramp up the sass to like, to be like, "All right, I challenge you to like be a villain and everything." That's why he did all that. Was that he didn't want Sonic to become the next Arthur. He didn't want him to end up the same way. Um which like God, I love Caliburn. Um but then this is where something very interesting happens. And writer,
Oh,
you cannot say a single thing because I know you know where this is going.
dang it.
You know what I'm about to talk about.
Yeah, I do.
So they're sitting there in the woods, they're coming to terms with each other, and Sonic all of a sudden hears my character's voice. Like he's thinking back, and then all of a sudden he hears, and I gotta come up with the exact line and everything, but he all of a sudden hears like Sonic, and he kind of like perks up, like, whoa, that actually sounded real. And he hears like, Sonic, it's not your fault. Like, I want you to forgive yourself. And he calls out to Eve. He calls out to my character, and he races to where he thinks he heard it from, and there's nothing there.
The poor boy.
There's nothing there. But hearing that, I'm gonna freak out in a second because I love this part. Hearing that, this is the good part of Alter Chaos. Hearing that, makes him realize she wouldn't want me to feel this way. That's what kind of snaps him out of it. She wouldn't want me to feel this way, and then Sonic's like, okay, like I don't know whatever comes next, but I need to take that next step towards like, you know, um towards like become being the person I need to be again, or being the person I need to be in general. So he runs off, and I don't know if I'm gonna put anything kind of teasing or not in that scene, but there might be a little moment where like if we had a camera where the camera would pan back to like the forest and the trees and everything, would just kind of hold for a second.
Yeah.
But enough of that. Let's continue on to the rest of the saga, shall we? Don't laugh.
I can just imagine everyone going like, "Oh, are we gonna get the lower drop?" And then it completely misses it.
We're not getting that lore drop yet. um, but anyway, Ghost Girl is gone now. Sonic has overcome Ghost Girl. Ghost Girl has now vanished. Finally, he has said goodbye to Ghost Girl. Ghost Girl is gone now. Rest in peace. Goodbye, Ghost Girl. Don't laugh. Rest in peace. Goodbye, Ghost Girl.
Goodbye, Ghost Girl.
I just love how you're laughing, and I'm like, don't laugh. Don't. But anyway, so Sonic races back to Camelot, and they're like, "Oh, you're here," and he's like, I get it now. Like, I'm so sorry, guys, and everything. And they're like, "That's okay. Let's figure out the next steps." He starts going like he's the one. He dives into the heart of Avalon, which I call dive to the heart because he Kingdom Hearts reference. Um, which like I need to play Kingdom Hearts for you so you actually get all these references. Um, because again, Alter Chaos is just Kingdom Hearts with Sonic characters. That's it. That's the entire plot. Like, I legitimately, when I was coming up with the characters, like, when I was officially getting ready to make the series, I quite literally said, okay, Sonic is going to be Riku with Sora's personality, and Eve is going to be Sora with Riku's personality. Done, done,
Yeah.
over, goodbye. And that was it. That was the entirety of my notes.
Oh my gosh.
I said, there it is. There's my notes. We're all done. We get to go home. But yeah, um, okay. So he races in. He goes into the heart of Avalon, like into the Dark Realm, and this is where things get interesting. So he's like running through Camelot Castle, which like I want to have as a whole thing. Okay? He's running through Camelot Castle and like Merlina senses that he's there and she's trying to talk him down the entire time as he's trying to make his way to the throne room. Okay? So
Nope.
he's crawling, he's like running, racing through and everything, and like wherever he looks, he sees skeletons, he sees, old bloodstains, he sees like torn up bed sheets, like things that are destroyed, like he sees the destruction firsthand. And
Mm.
and Merlina is like really trying to talk to him, and Sonic, like, it's kind of one of those things where it's like Sonic feels bad, but he's like Merlina, you know this can't be. He's like you know this can't be, Merlina. And she starts using her powers to show him the memories and everything,
Oh.
to show him like the happy memories, the slaughtering and everything. And Sonic kind of turns his face away, and she's like, "Don't turn your face away from the truth." And he's like, "I'm not. We have to move on. It's over. Like it's over, Merlina. It's time to save you." And like they're having like their back and forth. It's a conversation between them. But something that I really want to do, and I'm gonna scroll up so you can see Merlina full force. Um, Something that I really want to do is that Sonic catches a glimpse of young Merlina and his eyes widen. And this was kind of a last minute addition.
Mm.
Because originally it was not going to be like this, but I do like the idea. The idea is that he sees young Merlina and it's like she has blonde hair. It's Eve.
Oh boy.
Well, and he realizes, oh, like all of his friends are like different characters inside the books. That's who Eve is. She's Merlina.
Mm.
And the only reason Merlina has like the dark hair and like the silver eyes and everything is because she like took in like the power of the underworld and stuff. That's like an idea that I've had
Cool.
for a hot minute. Um is the only reason she looks the way she looks is because she took in like the darkness, the dark power of the underworld. Um but like because the
Mhm.
original idea was that like she was going to be Guinevere, and then I was like, no, that needs to be Maria and everything. But I like this idea. I really like this idea. Um, and it also plays into the whole like showing memories thing because of what happens in Moonbeast in that one scene. You know the scene I'm talking about.
Mhm.
Where she's like, "This is all your fault." It's like during the Spirit of Light chapter and everything. Um, but yeah, he realizes like, "Oh my gosh, that's her." Um, and I think I referenced it in one of the earlier chapters where he's like, "I wonder if there's a chance he wondered if there was a chance he'd ever see her again." Um, and that's actually her inside the book. Um, which I thought was kind of fun to do.
Yeah.
But anyway, he makes his way to the throne room, and like an interesting idea that I had like to play with like the flowers and stuff is like what if she was like trapped in like a cage of like flowers and thorns and everything. I was like, I want to go like so 2009 on this thing. Like all the way 2009. And I was like Linkin Park type. Oh yeah. Um, but like she's like trapped in like a cage of like flowers and thorns. Like it's keeping everybody else out, but it's also hurting her.
Aw.
Again, it plays into the overarching story. But Yeah, that's the idea, and then we get the whole that's when we get this whole scene of like he sees her, he's trying to like help her out and everything, and she keeps beating him back, beating him up and everything. And he's getting up, getting up, getting up, Caliber gets shattered and everything, Heart of Avalon, Sonic my boy, and like and Sonic's still grabbing the sword, he's still getting up. Um and then that's where like as he like gets up again, like with all this, like that's where we finally get this line. I love this one over here. But that's where I get like finally the big moment, which is where like Merlina's like, yo, they're all gone, everyone's gone, and Sonic's like, that's not true. And like that's where he finally recognizes like she will always be with me. And that's where we see again Ghost Girl, but Ghost Girl is whole again.
Yeah.
Ghost Girl is the positive memory he now has of her, and she's with him, and it's kind of like that final scene in Moonbeast where like where it's like he sees her spirit, she places a hand on his shoulder and then walks on into the dawn without him type thing. It was like kind of that moment, like she's there and she like puts a hand on him and everything, and I was like, oh, I was like, this is so sweet. Like I loved writing it. And then that's where Merlina finally is like fine then, like I'll have to take you down, and like that's where we get like the big final battle, and Caliburn like oh my gosh, there's something like I think like I'm thinking what ends up triggering Excalibur is like Sonic finally recognizing like I'm a hero, and it's like I'm a hero and I'll save you. Like he finally recognized that he is a hero, and that's what finally just like boom, like Excalibur
Yes.
and everything, right? Uh, and that's where like we finally get Excalibur. It's like burn, 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 burn. And that's where we get all the music and stuff. Um, so he fights her and everything, and like something that I'm like so excited to get to is like during the final fight, like she's finally like getting worn down and everything, and he like
Hmm.
and Sonic finally uses a sword. He
Yay.
finally uses a sword, and he goes in to like to pierce her, and like as he gets close, like I'm thinking like he like kind of like connects with like her heart for a second, and like sees the
Hmm.
small child, and like the small child is like ready to be like struck down or whatever. And Sonic like I'm just like I want like the anime visual representation of like Sonic like pushes past her and like strikes down the darkness instead, or
Aw.
something like that, or like he takes her hand and like pulls her out of there with him and everything. It's like sweet. It's like genuinely sweet.
Yes.
Um and then like maybe like we get like the Merlina reveal where she has the golden hair again or something. I don't know. It'd be kind of fun to play with. Um
Yeah.
but that's where like he removes all the darkness. Um and then that's where we get the infamous Merlina, every world has its end. I know it's kind of sad, but that's why we gotta live life to the fullest in the time we have. At least that's what I figure. But if you remember, that's what my character said all the way back in Cruise Blues. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like it comes full circle.
Eh.
Full circle.
Well, sucker.
But but yeah, and then that's where he says the line and everything, and then they're all like, oh, you're the true King Arthur, and Sonic's like, oh, I can't be. He's like, I'm not a king. Which, like, okay, for anybody who's read Ultra Chaos up to this point, you saw the underground pendant. I'm not gonna hide it. You saw the underground pendant. Yes, I am going to reference Sonic being like, I don't know, the first thing about being royal. I'm not royalty or anything. Bro. If only you knew, writer. But bro. Um, but anyway, so they kind of meet up, and and I'm thinking like they're like, okay, what do we do now? Like, do we need a ruler or anything? And I'm thinking like maybe that's where they kind of are like looking towards the future. Maybe we form a sort of like round table, like a democracy, like a round table. Um,
Yeah.
and they're like, Sonic, you can choose who leads it, and they give, and he gives Merlina the chance. to be a
Aw.
leader with Caliburn's council.
Aw.
So she gets Caliburn. Caliburn gets to like counsel her, and they're like, "Are you sure about this?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm sure." So Sonic doesn't just leave the kingdom to ruin; he does help it move on. Um, yeah. So like
I
Avalon,
like the version from the game.
because like the thing is, Avalon, quote unquote, dies, but it's like the old Avalon dies, like the old kingdom, and it's like becomes a new kingdom. It's like a whole thing that I want to do. But that's where we get to the final chapter, and I am gonna freak. I'm gonna cry when I draw this. I am gonna cry. I am so ready to draw this scene because we have one loose end to tie up to really bring Avalon together. One loose end, and the song, like the Live Life song that plays at the end of Sonic and the Black Knight, is going to start playing, and the final chapter animated begins with it begins with we're looking at a window, an early morning sun peering in. We pan over and we see we see Tails hard at work in his workshop and everything, and he's just welding, doing his own thing. um like I don't know, or maybe he's like prepping another like med lesson for Silver because Silver's getting his doctorate in medicine basically.
Yes.
but but all of a sudden he hears something, he perks up, and he walks over to his door and he opens the door and Sonic is standing there and I'm like, ah!
Yes.
And he's standing there and he smiles at him and Tails smiles like he's like all excited and like gets all tearful and stuff. He smiles, and then that's where I'm thinking like it pans up into the bright blue open sky, like the color has returned to the world. The color has returned to his life.
Yippee.
And the sky like pans up and we see like a couple of flower petals blow past and everything. Don't at me for that. Don't at me, writer. But that's where like it fades to black, and then during the Live Life song I want it to be like almost like an image compilation of Sonic going to like see all of his friends again because he's getting out, he's integrating back into like the world and stuff. But like the
Yeah.
first person he meets is going to be like Silver and everything, so he meets Silver. They become buds. He ends up seeing Amy, like Cream and all those guys. He ends up seeing Knuckles again. And I never got to write the follow up, but I'm thinking like what Knuckles does in like honor of like the whole like honoring her memory thing. I'm thinking like Knuckles actually like joins in on like helping out at the orphanage and stuff. Like it would be like so cute.
Aw.
Um, like he goes to see the Chaotix and like basically, and then like towards the end of the song, what I really want to happen more than anything is that like we see Sonic walk up. And again, it's like done more or less in images. Like we see Sonic walk up, and we see flowers in his hand and we see him smile, and then we see him like kneel down and walk away, with a smile on his face, and we see the flowers sitting at like the grave.
Aw.
Like he's finally okay. And it's like, oh.
Yes.
And we could have ended the series there, but like
But
the
no.
the best part of the series is coming. But that's Avalon. I'm so excited. I can't
Yippee.
wait to share this video and like ah I do want to get the story of
Aw.
Avalon. I do want to get the story of Avalon out there because I just want to go out of order and start just like just like doodling and everything. Um but you know where this brings us, and you have not read these yet, and I am so excited. This brings us to
Oh
the
boy.
Japan's Discord Mobius Adventures 2. Uh-huh. So you know how we read the Silver and Knuckles chapter?
Yeah.
So, are you ready? Um,
Oh boy.
so we get a chapter of Silver interacting with everybody. There's a chapter each for Silver
Oh.
interacting with everybody. And Mobius Adventures 2 takes place over the span of a year because, again, Timekeeper happens a year after the end of Moonbeast. We'll get to
Yeah.
Timekeeper. Um, but there's an interaction chapter with Silver and every single cast member. I think my favorite, I mean, the Silver Knuckles one was so much better. It came out so much better than it had any right to be. But I think the most obscure pairing that I'm excited to share is that I have one with Silver and Jet of all people. Like the freaking hog. Like I and we never finished Riders. You guys don't know like the big thing that happens in Sonic Riders. Um and the whole thing, like what's Jet's whole story and everything, so I can't tell you everything. Um but it like basically Jet shows up to like Sonic's house, like um Jet shows up to Sonic's house and he like well he shows up on South Island, finds out about what happened. Because
Hmm.
again, like the whole world is still grieving and stuff. And what's funny is that he goes to knock on Sonic's door, because obviously he's concerned about him, but he'll never let anybody know, right? He goes to knock on the door and he's just like, "Loser, open up!" Like he's doing his Jet thing, okay? Um, and well, he doesn't know. Like Sonic's not answering. It's not because Sonic is still like depressed and won't answer. It's because he's inside the storybook. So it happens like during the events of Avalon, which I love. But basically Silver randomly shows up and I don't know. I still love the whole bit of him being a delivery man, and like maybe he's a delivery man for like Sonic for once, and like I don't know. I gotta do an entire bit though of like Jet trying to race Silver and being like, "I'm faster" or something, and like, or he's like, "I can fly," and then like, "I can fly, can you fly?" And then Silver's like, "Oh yeah, I can." He just like floats, and Jet's like, "Ah!" I want to do it so bad. I'm like, it's so funny. But I gotta do Silver with the Chaotix. I gotta do Silver with like cream and cheese. Silver and Tails was the whole prologue. Um, I think it would be fun to do a more deeper Silver and Tails one. Food for Thought is Silver and Sonic, so this is like I think like a month. Oh, I gotta get timeline right. It's a month after Avalon, so Sonic is out and about at this point. Um, and then there's one with Silver and Amy that takes place about uh 9 months after the end of Moonbeast. It's
It's
closer to
almost to a full year.
almost to Timekeeper. Um, but yeah, we need to read this one out loud and the
Oh
Amy one
boy.
because we can read the Amy one now, and I'm so ready to share it. But food for thought. You want to read Sonic and I read Silver?
Sure.
All right,
So who's
I go first. Food for
okay?
thought.
Huh?
The blue hedgehog's daily jog through the countryside was interrupted by the soft sound he'd picked up thanks to his more sensitive ears. He skidded to a halt, having spotted the younger white hedgehog sitting on a nearby rock. The time-traveling hero seemed troubled, unable to hide his worry as he rested his cheek on his hand, staring ahead in deep thought as he picked up tiny pebbles and tossed them around with his powers.
Silver?
Huh? The young hedgehog looked up, his amber eyes meeting those of a deep emerald. Oh, hey, Sonic.
You look really bothered by something. Want to talk?
Huh? Me? Bothered? No way! Uh, he rubbed his head sheepishly, attempting to hide his concern. Sonic folded his arms, raising an eyebrow.
Well, that doesn't sound convincing.
Silver winced. I know.
Look, I know you're from the future and all, and that information is sacred or whatever.
Sonic did air quotes with his hands.
But it's okay to talk about your problems with us. You don't have to hide whatever it is you're going through. That isn't fair to you. That isn't fair to you, and you know it. Tiny text, hard to read.
Go crazy.
So go on. The voice crack. The perks of being sick and still recovering. So go on, I'm all ears.
Sonic smiled as he waited for a response. Silver paused for a moment. He was right. The issues he was facing were so far removed from the present reality that it couldn't hurt to talk about his feelings a bit. If it did, he would have already received an earful from Master Mogul anyway. It's just, Silver sighed. This is going to sound weird, but have you ever been so sad that you couldn't eat? Mm,
Well,
I think you know where this is going.
yep.
Sonic's eyes widened with concern as he knelt down by the white hedgehog.
Whoa, Silver, you doing okay, buddy?
Oh no, it isn't me per se, just. The hedgehog paused, a bit flustered now as he realized what Sonic was thinking.
This is about your new friend.
Yeah. Silver looked down at his hands with troubled eyes. Sonic placed a hand on his shoulder.
Hey, I'm here for you. Just say the word and we can go help your friend together.
I appreciate it, Sonic, but you can't just come with me. It doesn't work like that.
Oh.
Contrivances! Sonic said. I need to stop with these chapters. Sonic sat down next to Silver. Neither of them sure what to say for a moment. Sonic spoke up first.
Oh gosh, tiny ticks. Last I heard, Tails' lessons were going really well. Did something happen?
They woke up.
Oh, that's awesome, Silver.
I thought so too at first. Silver buried his face in his hands.
Is there was more?
Oh yeah, Sonic watched the torn up hedgehog with concern.
But
Well, Silver looked at his hands once more. I thought at first they were still in too much pain to eat, or maybe they just didn't like the food I brought them. But as more and more days passed, he fell silent, unsure how to continue. Sonic's eyes grew sad.
they keep refusing to eat, huh?
Yeah, his gaze equally saddened. I think they may have lost someone important to them in whatever freak accident left them in that state. He clenched his fists in frustration. I've tried everything at this point, but
Did you try talking to them?
of course I did.
What did they have to say?
Nothing.
Nothing?
They won't speak. That or they can't. They just keep turning away from me whenever I try.
Oh gosh, my eyes won't focus. Good grief. Silver.
Their eyes. They were filled with tears, so hopeless. If I don't do something soon, then. The hedgehog turned his head, releasing a few small tears. Sonic shut his eyes, taking in the heartbreaking situation before contemplating what to say next. He remembered his own grief he'd only recently started to overcome with the help of those who loved him. With Silver there, Sonic had no doubt this person had all the love and support they needed. The naive hedgehog had it in spades. The question was simply how to break through to them. Sonic opened his eyes, an idea popping into his mind. He took Silver's hands, much to his confusion.
Come on, I have an idea.
Sonic, where are we? The hedgehog spread his arms wide with a beaming grin.
Welcome to the marketplace, home of South Island's finest comfort foods.
Huh? What's a comfort food?
Oh,
Sonic
the
zipped.
sweet poor boy.
Oh, This leads to some of the best interactions, though. Sonic zipped behind the hedge. Wait till you get to the Uno joke. Wait till you get to the Uno joke. You don't understand the Uno joke.
Oh boy.
What's Uno? It means one. What? Well, why won't you just say one? Because it's Uno. It's one of the best bits in Silver Age. Sonic zipped behind the hedgehog, placing an arm around him with a wink.
Only the best cure for a rough day.
I don't follow.
Look, maybe what your friend needs in order to eat something warm and fuzzy.
Fuzzy. Wouldn't that be a choking hazard?
It's an expression, Silver. Just roll with it.
Oh, okay. The confused hedgehog paused for a moment. How do we know when we find this comfort food?
Well, that answer depends
On what?
on what makes you feel happy and safe. For me, that's easy. I'm Team Chili the Dogs for life.
Sonic pumped his fist in enthusiasm. Oh, you mean a food that brings you comfort, like when you're sad. Silver smiled, his eyes sparkling. The sweet, precious baby
Now,
boy.
yes, now you're talking.
Sonic playfully nudged his friend's side.
So, what kinds of comfort food do you have in your time?
Oh, I love eating bread.
But bread?
It's pretty scarce, but I always feel happy when I find some.
Oh, this poor child.
So there's an entire bit in IDW where Silver grows tomatoes and loves tomatoes because he can't grow them in his time, and it's like, oh, you poor child.
You poor
Well,
sweet summer child.
I referenced the tomato thing in Silver Age. Don't worry. Silver's eyes sparkled once more. Sonic stared at the young hedgehog in disbelief. Just what kind of future did this poor kid come from? Oh, you'll find out.
Exactly.
Sonic, well, I actually touch on it in the Silver and Knuckles chapter, but yeah. Sonic grabbed his hand and began leading him along the street.
Yeah, okay, no. We're getting you some proper food to take back.
Proper food? You mean like in the history books?
Yep. Oh, welcome to the past, Silver.
Wow, I can't wait! The pair of
Uh,
hedgehogs.
he's like the poor comic relief.
Oh, he literally is.
Like,
Oh,
it's funny, but then you realize how bad it is.
you're not ready for Silver Age. You're not ready for Silver Age. Just like, hi, dead body. You're my best friend now. We are best friends for life. Dead body. What the fuck? The
I'm gonna
pair.
see the face.
Oh, I need to go back and draw those early Silver Age chapters. I drew a bit for Quest for Laughter and like, oh my gosh. I there's like anyways, the pair of hedgehogs spent the rest of the afternoon making their way from stand to stand as they tried various foods. The younger hedgehog was delighted, his palate brimming with a whole new world of flavor and texture. Sonic couldn't help but feel joy at the sight of the quirky hedgehog before him. In a way, he reminded him of the friend he'd lost, her joy at the simplest things equally as infectious. Sonic looked down in thought as he leaned against a nearby building, chili dog in hand. He took a bite, then paused, the hedgehog next to him pausing as well, just before taking another bite of his cheesy macaroni, because of course he would love. Dude, that is a reference to the cookbook. You don't understand. There's a cookbook with like recipes from like the Sonic characters, quote unquote. Um,
Yeah.
and I have it, and it has commentary from all the Sonic characters. And Silver's is mac and cheese, and I was like, oh, because it's a comfort food. And I was like, ah,
Yes.
like it was just like I love this when the world feels like it's falling around me, and I'm like, oh.
Wait till he tries the infamous dish of macaroni and cheese and sausage bites.
Mm, maybe.
That's like a staple food at my home.
Mm. Merca. All right, your turn.
Silver,
Hmm.
I kind of know what your friend is going through.
Silver turned to the older hedgehog, eyes wide. Huh? What do you mean?
I also lost someone very important to me.
You you did? Wait, I think I remember Tails mentioning something about that. If
Hmm.
you don't mind me asking, what happened?
I
Sonic turned his face away, a pained look crossing his features.
I don't really want to talk about it. Not yet.
Sonic.
It was a little before you met Tails. I was still really torn about it all. Tails, he would check up on me, bring me a chili dog or two, and attempt to cheer me up. It helped a little, but what helped me most was remembering something my friend said to me once a long time ago.
Silver watched, his focus unwavering. What was it?
She told me that we need to live our lives to the fullest every day and cherish the time we spend together, because
Sonic sniffed, wiping away a few tears.
that time is so limited.
Sonic turned to face Silver with a renewed smile.
And that's what makes life so precious in the end. if you tell your friend anything, make sure that it's never give up because with time always moving forward, you never know what awesome surprises life has in store.
He revealed a faint grin.
Just like how we all met you, Silver.
The time traveling hedgehog smiled, his eyes sparkling once more. I will. Thanks, Sonic.
Anytime, Silver.
He winked before taking another bite. Also, I think I know what food I'll take back. He raised his fists in determination. I'm not giving up on them. Not a chance.
That's the spirit. So what food or which food are you trying are you going to try first? Oh my gosh, I can't do this.
Silver revealed a wide, faint smile, leaning towards the hero of Mobius in excitement. A chili dog! Chapter ends.
Ah,
And yes, there is a follow up in Silver Age. And the title of that chapter is Chili Dog.
yeah, of course.
And it is one of the sweetest chapters. But
Almost with one part of the drawing. Yay.
I'm just smiling to myself. I mean, no, this storyline is no laughing matter. Nah, nah, nah,
Totally not.
nah,
Totally, totally not.
nah. But yeah, so that's the one with Silver and Sonic. Now we get the one with Silver and Amy, which takes place 9 months after the ending of Moon Beast. But yeah, don't you love how everyone's just like banding together to help Silver, to help Silver's friend?
Yes.
Yeah, it's cute, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, they're a bunch of good guys. Um,
Just casually adopting new friends into their family.
no, seriously,
Like, oh,
I said when making the series, I was like, this is not a smutty self-insert. This is found family. We are doing found family here with like the little bit of romance, but like, come on, it's literally just Sonic and Amy being like, "Oh, senpai, I don't know if they like me." Like that's literally the like, yes, I'll do romantic bits, but like, it's not smut.
wait.
I love change in scenery so much. This one's really cute. So, do you want to do Amy or Silver?
I can do Amy.
You want to do Amy?
Yeah.
All right. Start humming. The,
I don't know.
the psychokinetic hedgehog halted his peaceful countryside flight to the great inventor's workshop. Having heard the sweet melody in the distance, he turned, or having heard turned, debating whether he should pursue or continue onward for another of his medical lessons. What are you humming?
I don't know. I'm literally just thinking random notes.
What the heck? Tails wasn't going anywhere. Whoosh. Silver lowered himself, floating near the neatly decorated house. He landed gently on the stone path before the door, leaning in to knock before hearing the humming once more. He followed the sweet melody around to the back. Whoa! Flowers and vegetables of all shapes and sizes covered nearly every inch of the space between the fences. At its center stood a familiar figure in a wide-brimmed hat and overalls. Amy? The pink hedgehog startled, turning towards the young hedgehog as she wiped the sweat from her brow.
Huh? Oh, hey, Silver.
She smiled.
You're back on one of your visits, I see.
Yeah, I was about to see Tails for another one of his lessons, but then I heard you and wanted to see what was up. You have a beautiful singing voice.
Oh, you're so sweet, Silver.
The two chuckled a moment before she continued.
I decided to start a garden a little while back to change things up around here. Vanilla taught me how in a few months I spent at her place.
Silver's eyes widened. You mean you weren't living in your own house? Amy's gaze fell.
It was too much. Still is sometimes.
She gripped her trowel tighter. Silver looked at the trembling hedgehog curiously before his eyes flew wide in realization. Oh, you mean. He rubbed his arm in guilt. Sorry, I didn't mean to bring up any bad memories. Amy took a deep breath, shaking her head.
No, it's okay, Silver.
She turned and smiled, though a bit of sadness lingered.
I'm more sorry you have to keep getting caught up in all this.
Silver jolted into the air. No, not at all. He lowered himself once more. If anything, I'm happy everyone trusts me so much to open up about their feelings. He took her hands gently in his. If there is anything I can do to help, even if only by listening, then I'm honored. None of you are bothering me, I promise.
Silver.
Amy stared into his eyes for a moment before looking down in remembrance.
Her name was Eve.
I
She
forgot
was
I
my.
edited this chapter. Oh my gosh. Keep reading. I forgot I edited this chapter.
Okay, I was like, do I stop? Do I stop?
No, you're good. You're good. I forgot this is the edited version. Oh my gosh. Yes, keep going.
Okay. Um, her name was Eve. She was my sister. Well, my adopted sister.
Amy smiled.
She didn't come from Mobius, but she was just as much of a part of this world as anyone else. We lived together here,
Her smile faltered.
but
She took a deep breath.
ever since she died, it's been quiet, too quiet. I couldn't handle its cream, cheese, and vanilla. They took me in.
Amy looked up at the closed window above.
Some days it's still too much, but I want to try.
She smiled once more. Amy. She shook her head, looking at the hedgehog still holding her hands in support.
I can't run forever, right? She won't want that. Besides, I can't just let her home crumble around her, can I? I owe it to her to keep this place looking nice. That way, her spirit can have a home to come back to.
She picked up her trowel once more, her gaze falling as the weight of her desires pressed down on her.
You know, so she can live on.
The hedgehog from the future watched her sadly. It was clear that Amy wanted to find peace, though even more evident that her desire was outmatched by her lingering regrets. She couldn't do this on her own, and, honestly, Silver didn't expect her to. That was too much pressure to place on anyone in this kind of situation, even if she still took it on like a champion. Tails could wait. I love Silver! Right. Silver held out his hand, his bangs and quills lifting as he raised a nearby garden hoe, grasping it with a determined smile as his powers faded. Then it looks like we have our work cut out for us, huh? Amy's eyes went wide. Yeah, this is why I love Silver because like he's childlike, but he's aware.
He's a baby.
Like he has lived through kind of the point I'm making with this character is that he has lived through so much suffering and grief that like he chooses happiness in spite of it and
Yeah.
but like when he recognizes it in other people he can't turn a blind eye to it,
Aww.
and it's like I love Silver's like who we all need to aspire to be. um
Yes.
yeah, Amy's eyes went wide.
Oh, Silver, I can't ask you to do this.
You don't have to do
Right.
you don't have to. I'm doing this because I want to. He winked in response. Amy smiled. She twirled the trowel in her hand with a wink.
Then let's do it to it.
I forgot about all the edited stuff. I'm so excited. The pair of hedgehogs, I forgot I edited this chapter. I'm so ready. The pair of hedgehogs spent the remaining hours of the day together, starting with fixing up Amy's garden and eventually moving inside to work on some redecorating. As the two moved upstairs, Amy froze, unable to bring herself to so much as look at the cracked door before her. Silver, noticing this, offered to step inside and help clean up the space, careful not to move anything from its place. Amy wanted to keep the room preserved in her sister's final moments at home, and Silver respected that. Using his powers, he created a room-wide bubble and turned back the hands of time to clear the space of dust, mites, and loose debris. So, this will be explained later. Silver can, like, turn back time on objects. He cannot turn back time on people.
It's almost Doctor Strange.
Like, he
Just
can't...
more rules.
Like, he can't undo... Like, if somebody was, like say he was there in Seven Rings and like she got impaled, like he couldn't undo her wounds or
Yeah.
anything like that. But like he can like fix a broken pitcher, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's like the caveat. When he was finished, everything practically sparkled the way it had the day she left. The young hedgehog then turned his attention to the shirt stained in red next to the diary on the bed. He laid a hand on it, pulling the stain from the fabric as he lifted his hand and opened a small portal, disposing of it in the space between. Surely Mogul wouldn't mind. Right?
Mm, mm.
I love this bit. Silver shook off the feeling, whispering a quiet apology to the all knowing mammoth spirit who took him in as a tiny hoglet. Unbeknownst to him, the spirit had, indeed, seen all of this from his realm and was now shaking his head with an exasperated sigh. Teenagers. But yeah, like, and Timekeeper Saga is important because it will explain, like, if you tried to turn back the hands of time on people, it'll explain all that. Yeah.
Oh boy.
The psych. Okay, this is where all the new stuff was added. I'm so excited. The psychokinetic hedgehog wiped the sweat from his brow, having used up a considerable amount of energy in his mission to restore this Eve person's bedroom. He took a look around the now pristine space, absorbing as much information about this mysterious yet beloved friend as he could gather from the objects once in her possession. An ornate violin with her name in golden lettering propped against the frame to his left, a large and soft child plushie flopped crooked against the pillow meeting the corner of the wall, layers upon layers of string lights covering the ceiling from one end to the other, giving the room a warm, starry appearance. A half-melted candle smelling of wildflowers sitting upon the windowsill near her desk, a pair of high-tech headphones resting beside a small heart lightly carved with some kind of pencil atop the headrest of the owner's chair. I added that. I added that in post. That is coming back later. His gaze. I'm too excited. His gaze. Well, I'll show you that stuff when we're not on recording. His gaze journeyed back to the space above the bed frame. There's a story behind the heart on the headrest. His gaze journeyed back to the space above the bed frame, taking note of a collage of photos of her Mobian friends all smiling and playing happily without a care. Though, in every scene, the girl they all spoke of was nowhere to be found. Silver placed a hand along the wall. Huh, guess she was always the one to take the pictures. That or she didn't like to be photographed, the hedgehog silently added in his thoughts. Satisfied with his investigation, the boy from the future turned his attention back to the bed where the missing girl's diary lay open. After a moment of debate, curiosity got the better of him and he glanced at the words on the page. That brings me here. Back home, changed and ready to go. It's already getting late now that I look outside. The sun's beginning to set. I guess thinking of all my wonderful friends and the time we spent together really made the day fly by. What a perfect day. Well, time to go visit Sonic and meet up with Amy. I can't wait to share more of my special memories to come. He glanced over at the next page. Empty. Oh, Amy. The hedgehog's eyes grew sad. You were there when it all happened, weren't you? Amy.
Yeah, sorry. Small lines, hard to see on phone. Yeah.
I'll make it bigger. Here you go.
Thank you.
Silver turned
Yeah.
sharply towards the door, eyes wide, only to find Amy leaning against the frame with a sad smile. Oh, Amy, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
It's okay, Silver. I'm guilty of reading it too.
She stepped inside after a moment of hesitation, ready to face what lay ahead. Her eyes closed as she inhaled, taking in her sister's lively presence once more.
It's like she never left, huh?
I wouldn't know. I wish I could have met her, though. She seems nice.
She was.
Amy hugged her arms.
She had a hard time fitting in at first, but it didn't matter. Even in the face of endless hate and darkness, she never stopped finding the reasons to laugh or smile. It was inspiring. She always encouraged others to find joy in the smallest moments of life, too, no matter where they came from. She never gave up on anyone, no matter what trials they were facing. It was somehow both her best friend, or her best and worst quality.
What do you mean?
There were times when her grit and relentless determination would get her into trouble.
Amy chuckled slightly.
In fact, she and Sonic butted heads plenty of times, both of them too stubborn to give in to the other without a fight.
Really?
Yeah.
Her gaze fell somewhat.
On our final adventure with her, she and Sonic got into an especially terrible fight that lasted well over a day. They each said something hurtful English. They each said some hurtful things, and it eventually led to an intense battle between them. So we heard.
What were they fighting about?
Amy
Or
chuckled,
Amy
but get
chuckled, yeah.
this. Yeah, get this. They were fighting over each other's safety.
What?
I know. How crazy is that?
She smiled.
But that's how much they love each other. Neither wanting to see the other get hurt.
Her gaze fell, tears springing up.
Yes. Good grief, my throat. I guess you could say she won in the end, though, huh?
She wiped her eyes as she sniffed. Amy.
Hey, Silver.
She leaned her head. She lifted her head with a tearful yet determined smile.
Want to help me decorate her door?
Silver stared at Amy for a moment. He could see it in her eyes. She needed this. She was about to feel a sense of closure, and she needed his help to achieve it. He nodded, pumping his fist with enthusiasm. Of course I do. Let's do it. Silver and
Aw.
I know. I love the end of this chapter though. Wait till the ending of this chapter. Silver and Amy got to work on the final piece of the house, the missing girl's door. The two of them gathered flowers of all kinds from the garden, decorating the door with a colorful wreath. Silver grabbed some paper, folding and shaping it into various objects of interest to her with his powers. He crafted some hearts, a violin, and the heads of the girl's many friends. Together, the two friends strung up his creations, weaving them from end to end. Finally, Silver
Oh.
crafted some lanterns, which they filled with small lights to illuminate her door. This is like especially sweet if you remember that scene in like the Sonic Adventure 2 arc where she says that like she loves soft lighting like that because it makes her feel safe.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah. The two took a
Yeah.
step back, admiring their work. There, I'm sure your sister would love it, ain't hug noises. Silver's eyes flew wide as the pink hedgehog threw her arms around him.
Thank you for this, Silver.
He returned her embrace. Any time, Amy. They stayed like that for an extended moment, Silver eventually looking back at the closed door in deep thought.
Huh? What is it, Silver?
Amy pulled away in curiosity. I was just thinking. She cocked her head.
About what?
My friend. He continued staring at the door in contemplation.
You mean the one from your time that you've been helping to get better? Sonic said they woke up a while ago and even mentioned how you finally got them to start eating again.
Yay!
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
things have been going.
eating.
Yay. Yeah, we needed the conclusion because we're not going to get Silver Age till much later. Yeah, yeah, things have been going well. Amy watched him worriedly.
Then what's wrong?
I just feel bad. When I asked if they had any family or friends I could reach out to, Amy's heart broke.
Nobody?
Nope. The subject seems to really upset them too. My best guess, Silver looked at the cutouts of the girl's friends, is that they lost their family in the accident that messed them up. Amy followed his gaze.
That's so sad.
It is. And to make matters worse, they're still mostly bedridden, which means when I'm gone on trips like this.
You were thinking of how you could help them feel less lonely.
Yeah. Silver looked back up at the lit door. I was going to ask Tails about it today when I gathered more medicine to take back, but I think helping you gave me the answer I needed. He smiled.
Silver,
Amy hadn't considered the psychokinetic hedgehog's struggles. Here he was, worried so deeply about his friend's well being, and yet he pushed everything aside to attend to her needs without a second thought. Amy smiled. Whoever his friend was, they were really lucky to have him in their life.
then what are we waiting for?
Huh? Amy grabbed the pair of scissors from the craft pile on the ground, offering Silver a wink.
We have some more decorations to make.
The hedgehog's eyes widened, sparkling with joy. Yeah, thanks, Amy.
Anytime, Silver.
The two began to walk downstairs. Oh, and I was also thinking I could start one of those garden things on my own if you wouldn't mind sparing a few extra seeds. I was thinking it could be a great surprise for when they're able to walk on their own again.
Take as much as you need. I'm sure your friend will love that.
Really? You think so?
I
Oh.
can see the rest of it. No doubt.
So, IDW Silver loves gardening. And I'm also like, Silver Age, there's a whole thing with the garden. You'll see. Um, All
I
right.
can't help but think of the suddenly pineapples.
I
like,
I love this part though. This is the best part of the chapter. You ready?
yeah.
Just sit back and enjoy.
Oh boy.
Back in the future, Silver's friend awoke from their nap, rubbing their tired eyes clear of any remaining sleep with their left hand and releasing a silent yawn in tandem. They then shook their head, attempting and ultimately failing to tame the unruly short locks as they stuck out. Whatever. Wasn't as if that loyal puppy of a hedgehog would even care. Their eyes flew wide as they took in the room surrounding them. The shack's walls that they'd grown so accustomed to over the past few months since waking from their coma were now lined in lanterns of varying sizes. Their warm light illuminated the otherwise dark room, resembling fireflies dotted along a peaceful countryside. The silent figure took in the sight with awe, wondering if they were still dreaming. That is, until their eyes fell on the white hedgehog passed out, snoozing on a pile of craft materials at the desk in the corner. The figure sighed. Yep, loyal to a fault. Silver shivered slightly against the cold of the night, prompting his friend to push themselves with their arm to the end of the bed closest to him. As their bandaged legs hung over the end of the bed frame, they took a deep breath, pushing up onto shaky legs with a small, silent huff. Once balanced, they grabbed one of the blankets from behind them, slowly placing one weak foot in front of the other until they reached him. They gently slid the blanket around the hedgehog's shoulders before half walking, half stumbling back to the bed. They sat with a heavy plop, wiping the sweat from their brow before readjusting themselves to a more comfortable seated position. They watched as the hedgehog nuzzled into the warmth of the blanket, shaking their head in an exasperated but affectionate manner. Then a smile escaped their silent lips, one of very few in the past string of months. Good night, Silver. Chapter end.
Ah,
Yeah, so we got a snippet into Silver Age.
yes.
Yee.
Yeah.
Yee.
Yeah.
It's like the scene from K-pop Demon Hunters where she's like, eh.
Yeah. No more relaxing time.
Yay. So I would ask you for your theory, but I already told you what's going on here, so you don't get to
Yeah.
theorize.
Yeah.
No theories for
Viewers
you.
get to theorize.
The viewers get to it's like the scene from Amazing Digital Circus where he's like, and what do you, dear viewers, think of it?
Who are you talking to?
I adore just the
uh,
line. It wasn't as if that loyal puppy of a hedgehog would even care. Again,
he's just a wholesome boy.
Silver and his friend are my favorite duo in the entire series of Ultra Chaos. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts. I love these two to an unhealthy degree. I love these two. Um, so I think the okay, so like this brings us to let me give like the other stuff before Timekeeper. Um, okay, so Colors. Colors is going to be mostly based off of the DS game, where you have the mother wisp that is like grieving like the loss of her children to like Eggman's schemes or whatever. I haven't played the DS version, but I've like seen a little bit. Um,
Yeah.
so I'm going off of the DS storyline where you're gonna have the Mother Wisp be like the final boss and everything. And again, like going with the themes and ideas of grief and healing, which is what part three is all about, because part three is literally Avalon, Mobius Adventures 2, any other side stories, then Timekeeper, and then War on Mobius and everything, right? Um, so like all the themes are going to be surrounding like grief and stuff. Like part one, we had friends. It was like fun little adventures with friends and everything, minus Metarex because I had to put Metarex there for chronological reasons, and it kind of sets up being like, oh, I can go dark. I can go dark, and then Moonbeast. Uh,
That
and
was
then we
something.
have and then we have part two, which is family, and family like involves like Shadow the Hedgehog, which that theme is all about family, and then we get like family looking after each other. The big culmination being Seven Rings and Moonbeast and everything, right? Then we get healing, and then we get Destiny, which Destiny is just a whole lot of like here's payoff for everything that's been built up the entire time. But we get that. What I have planned out more is the Lost Hex, which is
oh.
Sonic at Lost World, I don't know if I would rather make it a an arc in Mobius Adventures 2 or a saga
Mm,
because I there is so much effort I put into the Lost Hex storyline that like we got to go over all of it. Like Sonic and Tails, we get Sonic and Tails on an adventure. I feel like we can have a little bit of a dynamic. All I'm gonna say is there's a little bit of a dynamic between them. What I mean by that is Sonic has all I'm gonna say is like in the prologue for the second half of the series, like I think it became very apparent that Tails maybe kind of sort of moved on or forced himself to move on a little too quickly. There
yeah,
are reasons and feelings behind it based on certain stuff that happened behind the scenes that you won't
yeah.
know about for a good hot minute in the story. Um but there's a little bit of like a I can't explain it without ruining things. There's a little bit of a dynamic with Sonic and Tails. It's not like it is in the game where it's just like, oh, you trust Eggman over me. What? It's not that crap. Um, but there's a little bit of like Tails knows stuff that Sonic does not. Will this be
Okay.
resolved in Lost Hex? No. There's just
Okay.
yeah, and you don't even know the full extent, writer. You know some of the extent, but not the full extent. Um, my cat's just laying against me. This is really sweet.
Oh,
She's like sprawled out like an inchworm against me. It's super cute.
like, come on me.
And I'm rubbing her belly. Yeah. Um, but um, so I really want to drive home like because I'm thinking maybe Sonic and Tails like fight with each other a little bit. Um,
Hmm.
like maybe this is the time for Sonic and Tails like to maybe hash out a few differences, like or to kind of like hash out like the combined grief a little bit. I don't know. I gotta work on the Sonic and Tails dynamic. Um, but we're gonna have the Deadly Six be a horribly toxic and awful family dynamic.
Oh, lovely.
But what's interesting is that like all the different like Zavok is such an asshole the way I wrote him. Um, and yes, it's a little bit of a commentary on some things, but like Zavok is like uh very derogatory towards like the other members of the Deadly Six, um,
Yeah.
and all kind of in different ways. So you have like he and I don't think I need to spell it out for my readers, and I'm not going to spell it out. But like for instance, he says derogatory things about Zaz's intelligence. He says derogatory things about Zamam's weight. He says derogatory things about Zor you know, being depressed or whatever. But like the worst offender, and I'm so excited to put her at the forefront of everything, the worst offense is to Xena. Um, and you're kind of wondering, like, what's this dynamic and everything? And
Yeah.
I'm excited because there's going to be a chapter. Um, there's a chapter where essentially stuff gets revealed and Zavok like is like really kind of like treating Xena as less than. And then we get the I'm trying to explain it without spoiling it early. Um like I'm gonna tell it, but I don't want to say it straight up. Not yet.
Yeah.
But essentially like everybody else leaves. Zawek's like, not you and everything. And he starts saying derogatory things about like the way that she looks. And like and like look at all that makeup, you're trying too hard. Um like you're trying too hard, like blah 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 and everything. And then we get the bombshell drop. Um and I'm so excited to do this part of the story because like this is some like even though I have experience in some ways but not in this specific way, and I really want to like touch on this because I know that a lot of readers are going to see themselves in Xena for this.
Yeah.
But that's when Zavok leans in and is like, you can try all you want, but you'll never be a real woman, Zen.
Mm,
And that's where we get the reveal that Xena is trans. Um, and this is building up. I will just like straight up say this is building up to later where it's like I want to drive home the message that like you do not have to fit a certain mold to be a woman. Whether you are trans or cis, you do not have to fit a certain mold. Um and I want people to be able to read that and feel seen and feel like, okay, I don't have to prove myself to anybody. And there's going to be a really fun story arc later on into like the IDW stuff where like Xena is like, I do like the name Zen. Zavok made me hate it and everything. But also I like I'm thinking like Xena goes for like the street style. Like she's like totally like decked out and everything.
mm,
I adore the idea. Um, and she finds like what works for her and everything. Um,
yeah.
because like going off of like again, I can't speak entirely to the trans experience, but I could speak to what it feels like for people to be like, you're not a real woman because you look XYZ and everything. I can absolutely speak to that end. And like it was something that I wanted to like absolutely touch base on at some point in Ultra Chaos. Um, lots of things I want to touch base on. Um, but yeah, Zavok's a dick. Um, but the and then like the only person he kind of sort of reveres is Master Zik, who's like like you haven't played Lost World, writer. He's like the elderly stereotype. Um,
Okay.
and Zik. But what's interesting, and I was like, I don't want to make this like two-dimensional cookie cutter. I was like, the interesting part is I think I want Zik to realize I've created a monster.
Mm,
Like I've raised a monster, but it's too late to undo things at this point. Um,
yeah.
but what I'm really excited about is that like everyone feels like, trapped kind of in like the horrible family dynamic that's going on and everything. But eventually everybody but Zavok and Zik end up leaving and kind of forming their own little family. So they're like, you know what? We're no longer the Deadly Six. We're gonna be like, I don't know, like the Furious Four or something like that. So they end up leaving and kind of forming their own family and like those four like fully like support each other and love each other and everything, even though they're like a band of villains and stuff. Like
Aw.
there's gonna be a funny dynamic later where it's like, okay, like basically they help Zen come to grips with like who she wants to be and everything. And then it's like, all right, so they're about to rob a bank. Yep. You wanna go stop them? I'll give them 5 minutes. Like it's like that kind of dynamic. Um where it's like they end up becoming like I don't know, like the box ghost. Like if you've seen Danny Phantom, they end up becoming like the box ghost
Yes.
of South Island. Like they like
Oh, yes.
they do like the non-harmful like just like little petty crimes. They do like the little petty crimes. They'll serve time here and there. Like they're still villains. I was like no no no. They're still going to be villains, but it's like they're kind of like we're just going to like steal lollipops from babies like kind of like they don't. And then what's really cool is that like later on when we get to Metal Virus and stuff, like because the Deadly Six are in the Metal Virus saga in the actual comics, I was thinking
Mm,
that the four of them actually come together and like join the heroes to like try and stop like Zavog and everything.
yes.
I was like, dude, that would be so much cooler. So like when it push comes to shove, they will absolutely be there to help save the world, but otherwise they're doing petty crime. Like just petty crime that like it's just like it's just like, okay, guys, you stole this lady's purse, right? Yeah, all right, give it back. Okay, fine. But yeah, they're I don't know what other Sonic characters to compare them to, but yeah, they're like yeah, I love these guys.
Yeah.
I was like we're gonna play up like the tropes and everything. Like one of my favorite scenes later is when like like Zen, still going by Xena at the time, comes out with like the new style and is like, definitely anxious and then like of course like everyone looks at her and then like Zaz of all people is like the first one to speak up and be like, looking good, sis, and then they're all just like, yeah, and like um and that's when she's like, you know what? I'm taking back the name Zen. I like it. It means peace and everything. Like I'm just like, yes. Like totally got to play up the vibe. And then it's just and then like I think the funniest part about that whole storyline is that like I want Amy to be the ringleader that like helps out of all people. Like I want Amy to be the ringleader and like Amy genuinely wanted to help and is genuinely happy, but is also like, so does this mean you'll renounce your evil ways? And then they all look at her and go, nah.
No.
It's just like it's just like one of those storylines. Like, ah, but yeah, they are the I think those four are like the actual definition of like be gay, do crime. Like that meme. Like, okay, so there you go. You have like the the ex Deadly Six storyline. But the other big thing that happens in the Lost Text storyline, and I gotta go back and like add stuff. Tails actually gets cyborged,
Oh,
which was like a thing that was supposed to happen in the game, and then like Tails revealed it was just like a disguise, and I'm like, well, how in the world did you get away with the disguise? Because they should have known it was a disguise, yada yada yada. But no, Tails gets like a cyborg eye, he gets like a cyborg arm, so I'm thinking he becomes like, if you've read the Archie comics, he becomes like the bunny rabbit of like the whole of like the group and everything. Like he literally like
yeah.
tinkers with like his arm cannon and it's just like pew pew and everything, and I'm like, yes. Um, which will also make him like a bigger part of like the metal virus later on because as we know, metal virus can't infect metal and everything, so we get to play with all that. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, metal virus is a pretty big saga, so I gotta like make sure everything. It is so hard to keep track of everything at that point in the series, um, but yeah, and then all of that brings us to all of that brings us to Timekeeper. And again, I don't want to go through the entirety of Timekeeper just yet. However, I would like to provide a preview.
Ooh.
Oh, and I almost forgot one more thing with the Lost Text.
Yeah.
Eventually, and it's like the ultimate toxic family bomb, right? Eventually, Zavok just like everybody's left him, nobody's standing by him anymore. He just up
Yeah.
and roboticizes Master Zik. Like Zik becomes a robot. He
Oh
just
boy.
up and roboticizes Zik and is just like, fine, you'll be mine to command. And like Zik allows it.
Oh boy.
And it's like, oh my god. Which we'll get to later. Zik eventually gets I think demolished is an understatement, but Zik gets ravaged.
Oh boy.
And all I'm gonna tell you, writer, because you'll know, Tower of Death.
Oh boy.
I think you have everything you need to understand how that happens.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's just like, oh, 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 oh. Yeah, it's part of like the
Uh,
first like 5 to 7 chapters I have written for that song. But yeah. Okay, so we are going to No, I forgot. I'm gonna have to black that part of the video out. No! Okay, wait. Does it work if I do this? Okay, good. Okay. Oh no. Oh no. I might have just spoiled Timekeeper. Oh no. How long has this video been going for? 2.5 hours. Oh no. Oh, I don't know how to edit that. Oh, I'm gonna have to trim that little snippet.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So for those of you who are coming back after the little trimmed snippet, there was a weird cut there. I accidentally clicked on the timekeeper folder when images were showing, and image right there. Spoil. Ah! Cut! Cut again! I
Second cut.
accidentally
We're
shut
sorry.
it again!
Okay, grief.
No! I showed it twice! No! Okay, anyways, the one right
Don't show it.
below, the one right below Heart of the Broken. I'm not hovering over it again. For those of you who are coming back after I've cut the video twice, I accidentally clicked on like show images and I accidentally showed the image of a massive spoiler image for Timekeeper.
Okay, gravy, maybe.
Anyways, let's tease Timekeeper without spoiling it. Oh my gosh, I'm shaking. I'm gonna have to fix that or this video cannot go up. Holy crap. Dang it. Where's... Yeah, and then I can show off... Here's the old version. I know, I know, I know. Then we want Prologue, the Man in the Mask. Yep. So I'll tease a few things. Let's read, because I'm not planning on changing any of this. Let's read the very first chapter and another teasing snippet. Let's read the first chapter of Timekeeper.
Oh
My
boy.
favorite saga in this entire series that needs a rewrite.
Oh boy.
Prologue, The Exception. Deep in the folds of the spirit realm lived a being known as the Timekeeper. His job was to maintain balance and order across the timeline, and he upheld it with the utmost care and dedication. No moment was too insignificant, no second too fleeting. All was under his protection. All was to be maintained. The mammoth spirit, as per his regular duties, paced among the endless sea of glittering stars, peering into their reflections and watching as events of history unfolded. Though he existed in a specific time, he could see it all. The past, the present, and the future all existed under his domain, flowing through the natural course of energy within that reality. All was right in the universe. All was as it should be. The mammoth smiled, turning to head back for the scheduled training with his apprentice. Out of all his duties, mentoring the bright-eyed, psychokinetic hedgehog was by far his favorite. The kid was born an exception to the flow of chaos, able to traverse time and space from a young age. That was how he'd met him, scared and alone in the starry void as his powers acted of their own accord. Seeing when the child was from, Mogul had pitied the young hedgehog, offering to make him his assistant and teach him how to use his powers for good. So we'll see. Okay, I don't know if I should touch on this earlier on or not, but like, if you've played Sonic Generations, here's the lore dump. if you've played Sonic Generations and you know, like the Time Eater, like munches and crunches on everything, and like basically like time is ripped away from people, like all of Sonic's friends, like time is ripped away from them, and like they become these petrified husks and everything. It's horrific, by the way.
Oh
Um,
boy.
yeah, as Tails put it, I was stuck in limbo. Like that's like the whole bit. Um,
That's where limbo comes from?
that's where limbo comes from. Yeah.
Dude, I never knew the origin of that. I was like, what the heck is limbo? Someone please
That's where
explain.
that's where limbo from like the Sonic universe comes from. Um, but essentially the punishment for like breaking the laws of time travel is getting like forever frozen in time and thrown into limbo because you're too much of a threat to the rest of the timeline.
Oh.
And when you are, you don't just go missing, you are erased from the timeline.
Oh boy.
Meaning any memory of you, any like instant like any memory of you, anything is erased from the timeline. It was as if you never existed in the first place.
Dang.
And that's the punishment for breaking the laws of time. So essentially he saw a small child got, and I wrote this like extra chapter where I was flirting with the idea of like, what if we brought in freaking Ixis from the Archie comics and like she's the biggest bad of them all. Like I flirted with this idea once upon a time. And I don't like it because it takes away from the main villain of Alter Chaos that I've like built up so hard and just like basically throws it away for like, well, Ixis did it, and it's like, no, it's so lazy, it's so stupid. I don't like it. Um, but yeah. But anyway, Mogul saw Silver roaming around in like the Timekeeper realm, and instead of like punishing this small child, Mogul was like, "All right, you're my apprentice now. Come here, come here." That's the idea. Um, that's the idea is that he just instead of punishing him, decided to just teach Silver how to use his powers for good because Silver wasn't hurting anybody, right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So Mogul is like he's a good guy. He's a fair guy. Maybe a little too fair. We'll get to that eventually. Um, Perhaps one day the boy would even prove useful in his plans. Hmm. Rip. The mammoth quickly turned behind him just in time to witness a portal tearing open in space and time. His eyes widened at the sight, glowing crimson as a figure stepped through. He was a large, rotund man with a bushy mustache, lining a smile brimming with pride.
Gosh darn it.
How did Eggman show up? We will get to that eventually. Mogul narrowed his eyes. My. So you're this famous timekeeper I've heard about. The Mad Doctor laughed. I must say, I was expecting someone a bit more grand in stature. Mogul readied himself to attack. You shouldn't be here. No mortal should be here for that matter. What, or should I ask, who informed you of this place? The doctor, there is so much foreshadowing in this saga. The doctor waved a hand dismissively. How should I know? All I know is that I was given the glorious opportunity to change my fate and defeat that cursed hedgehog once and for all. He adjusted his goggles, reflecting the glowing spirit against his gaze. So I would suggest stepping aside if you know what's good for you. Huh, Eggman is so confident. The mammoth spirit charged the mammoth spirit charged a chaos spirit, ready to strike. I know all about you, Dr. Eggman. Your past, your future, they're all under my control. I would like to see you try to best me in combat in my own domain, nonetheless. Fair point. The doctor smiled once more. Though it won't be me you fight here today. With that, the doctor stepped aside, revealing a figure cloaked in robes and scarves from head to feet. They said nothing, though the spirit immediately recognized who it was that lay underneath. So, it's time. The mammoth smiled, lowering his weapon and closing his eyes in resignation. Very well. I know what must be done here today. The figure drew in the energy of the realm, including that of the mammoth spirit, a sinister dark glow emanating from their body as their power grew. As he vanished, his powers absorbed into the threat before him, Mogul decided to put his faith in his apprentice. Silver, you know what to do. The young hedgehog watched from afar, eyes wide with panic as the realm began to crack, inevitably shattering as a new ruler took his master's place. Wild energy shot from the figure's body, though Silver didn't stay to watch what came next. All he knew was that he needed help to stop this new threat. What he needed was Sonic. Chapter end.
Oh boy.
We are getting right into it.
If I already know who it is, I can't say that.
Well, you can't say anything. Yeah.
I want to. I can't.
You can't. You really can't. I would have to cut this whole part of the video. Don't make me cut
Yeah.
more of the video.
Oh no, I won't. After you almost
So yeah, like
exploited your story.
I will say there's a little bit of like rushed messiness in the way it's written.
Yeah.
I would like to kind of redo it. We'll get to what my plans are for Timekeeper eventually, but um yeah, so like let's talk about Shattered Plans. I want to leave off with this chapter and give you all a taste of where the story is going. Get you guys excited. Shattered Plans. Sunlight beamed from above, warming. Yeah, I'm not really going to change much of this opening part. It's like all this stuff when we get to the actual Timekeeper's realm that I need to edit and like change drastically.
Yeah.
Sunlight beamed from above, warming the dancing blades of grass along the hillside of Mobius. Flickies chirped joyously, living their lives to the fullest without a care in the world. It had been nearly 2 years now since the battle against the Black Arms, and all had been peaceful ever since. That is, for Mobius. For the hedgehog standing before the grave, wild flowers of a colorful sort in hand, those same 2 years had been filled with a variety of battles. It all began inside the pages of the Arabian Nights, where he'd fallen victim to the effects of the flame of judgment. Thankfully, he'd been saved, but at a steep price, his friend being struck down before his eyes. He'd barely been able to save her just before she was stolen away to the neighboring planet of Gaia, where 7 spirits lie waiting for their chance to rise again. If that wasn't bad enough, a great evil had taken possession of the hedgehog's body, using it to strike at his friend once more. After that, well, she simply disappeared, lost to the deepest, most fiery pits of Gaia. Forever. Then a few months later, he'd been thrust into yet another storybook, this time home to the legend of King Arthur and his Knights of the Round Table. It had been a difficult journey, mostly in facing the past he'd wished to forget, yet he managed to pull through and even find the inner light he'd lost along with his friend. With his new resolve, he faced his challenges head on and brought peace back to the world in the heart of a grieving wizard. Then, nothing. Sure, there was the occasional misadventure or visit from the time-traveling kid, but all had been quiet on Mobius. There was peace both inside and out, and Sonic absorbed every second of it. He needed to, especially today. The blue hedgehog knelt down, his white streaks of fur catching in the morning sunlight as he laid the flowers on the soft earth beneath him. Hey, I hope you like these. Sorry I haven't visited lately. It's been a bit harder, you know? Silence. I've been doing it, though. Living my life to the fullest every day. I bet you'd be really proud. A few tears threatened to spring up, Sonic wiping them away with his arm. More silence. Sonic sat on the ground before the grave, hugging his knees. He stayed like that a moment before continuing. I miss you, you know. I really wish I could see you today, even if only for a moment. His words were met with nothing but silence.
Mm.
Suddenly, a gust of wind blew against the grave, scattering the colorful flowers across the ground. Various petals pulled free from the friction as they slid across the stone. Sonic scrambled to his feet, frantically salvaging whatever he could before realizing it was too late. With stems broken and petals missing, the flowers were all but ruined. He exhaled shakily, a few more tears springing up that he quickly wiped away. He turned back to the grave with a sheepish half-smile. Seems like the wind ruined your flowers, huh? Looks like I'll have to go pick you some more. Silence. Sonic sighed, turning towards the woods in the distance before pausing, his emerald eyes meeting those of a sky blue. His brother's twin tails flicked as he offered a warm smile. Tails, what are you? Tails grabbed his brother's hand before leading him away from the grave. Come on. Huh? Where are we going? You'll see. Sonic looked back at the grave, reluctant to leave. Don't worry, you can bring her more flowers later. I'll even join you. Okay. After another moment, Sonic finally turned away from the grave, joining his brother. Lead the way, little bro. It took only a few minutes for the pair of brothers to navigate through the dense woods, their feet retracing the steps of their youth as if they'd never grown up. They might as well have been blindfolded, which is exactly what Tails held up as they grew closer to their destination. Sonic sighed, knowing where this was going. Tails, I really don't. Don't worry, just wait here. The teenage fox ran ahead excitedly. That's not. And he's gone. Sonic sighed again, folding his arms as he tapped his foot impatiently. Seconds felt like an eternity as he awaited whatever scheme his brother, and most likely the rest of his friends, had concocted to cheer him up this time. While he appreciated the gesture, he really didn't feel up to that sort of thing. Not today. Not on the anniversary of her death. And okay, you can take the blindfold off now. Sonic obliged, setting eyes on his friends gathered before him, confetti thrown and cake in hand. Surprise! Happy birthday, Sonic!
Aww.
In the game, it's his birthday. Yeah. Yeah. Sonic simply stood there, a slight frown crossing his features as guilt began settling in his stomach. He felt bad for not being more excited like everyone before him. That and, Happy birthday, Sonic! You will always be my most precious treasure. He clutched the locket around his neck, trembling slightly as he remembered the picture, her final words etched upon it in blood red ink. His eyes grew watery as he remained frozen in place, eyes wide and brow furrowed. Tails' smile fell as he realized what his brother must have been feeling. Everyone looked to each other worriedly, unsure what to say in response to the hedgehog's reaction. While somewhat expected, it still wasn't what they'd hoped for. They just wanted him to be happy on his birthday. Tails placed a hand on his brother's shoulder. Hey, if this is too much, Sonic! The hedgehog in question turned to find the younger white hedgehog running at him in a panic. Silver? Sonic! You have to help me! The timekeeper, he's. Rah! He can't do the roar. I don't know. Does that sound like
Yeah.
I'm like I'm so bad at the roaring noise that I will just up and ruin the saga entirely. Everyone turned towards the trees in the opposite direction as a large portal tore open through the sky. Dark, clawed hands the size of a small hut gripped the edges before pulling through a vastly larger creature made of black and purple smoke. Its eyes and mouth glowed white along with the strangely shaped hole in its chest. Branching from the hole were cracks of varying sizes, covering the beast's chest. This is so messily written. Oh my gosh. Similar cracks adorned its hands and arms, the lower half of the body dissipating like a cloud. The smoke making up its head curled upwards at various points, creating tips resembling quills. It screamed once more, eyes narrowing on the scene below. What the? Monster? Sonic continued staring at the creature in shock as its gaze fixed on him. Its eyes widened a moment before narrowing once more. The beast growled, disappearing back through the tear in the sky. Then it was gone. The Great Devourer, also known as the Time Eater. Silver walked up next to the older hedgehog as he stared at the tear in the sky. It appeared after my master was taken and began tearing holes across space and time, destroying entire pieces of our reality in its wake. Sonic turned to Silver, accepting the much welcome distraction. Then there's no time to waste. What next, Silver? Huh? Me? The flustered hedgehog pointed to himself, blinking a couple times in shock. This stuff's your specialty, right? You already seem to know a lot about this time eater thing. I don't actually. That's why I came to you for help. But you called this thing the Great Devourer, didn't you? Oh, I just named it that because it sounded cool. Really? I really have no idea what this thing is. Silver.
We love you, buddy.
God, wait till Silver Age. Sonic sighed. Okay. I just adore that Silver's just decides to be dramatic for no reason and then just goes, I have no idea what this thing is. Sonic sighed. Okay. He inhaled deeply. Then I guess all we can do is follow this thing and see where or when it leads us, right? Or I could offer what I know. Sonic's eyes flew wide as he turned to face the familiar voice with a furious scowl, fists clenched and ready to strike. Eggman. The Mad Doctor laughed. Amy ran to Sonic's side for support, hammer already in hand. What do you want, you bastard? Now, easy everyone. Tails pulled out a refined cannon blaster. Our friend is gone thanks to you. You better have a damn good explanation for all this. Everyone approached from behind, fists and weapons at the ready. So, for the record, Eggman has been absent since Moonbeast.
Yeah.
He hasn't I mean, like, I don't know if he's gonna be around for colors or not, but like he's basically absent since Moonbeast. Um, Everyone approached from behind, fists and weapons at the ready. Dr. Eggman continued to smile. Why, it seems my life is in danger here. Should I perhaps retreat instead? Sonic stood there, fist trembling another moment before finally releasing a tense breath, loosening his grip as well. Fine. Everyone stand down. One by one, all his friends followed suit, though their furious stares didn't fade. Very good, Hedgehog. Now listen up, everyone. What the leaf-headed Hedgehog said is true. Leaf-headed? Silver ruffled his hair a bit in embarrassment. Yeah, there's a whole joke in the community that Silver has a weed head. This time meter creature will consume all of space and time if not dealt with properly. We must destroy it, and I happen to know how. So I told you the plot of Timekeeper. Do you see how all this is coming together?
Mm-hmm.
Just 2 questions. The fox stepped forward, a scowl still lining his features. How do you know all of this? And more importantly, how are you traveling through time without a guide? Guide being Silver, basically. Eggman grinned, a
Yeah.
glint catching his goggle. To answer your second question, that is none of your business, Fox Boy. As for the first, he was the one who attacked Master. Everyone looked at Silver, whose fists were now clenched and fangs gritted. You also did something to release that thing, didn't you? Correct. You. Silver was stopped by a hand grabbing his raised, glowing arm. Amy? He'll pay. The pink hedgehog glared at the mad doctor. But for now, we need him in order to save our reality. Right. Silver's quills lowered, his power subsiding. The doctor continued. You see, I sought this creature's power in order to level the world for my empire as always. However, he's technically not lying.
Ugh.
Sonic rolled his eyes. Let me guess. You lost control and now it's up to us to clean up your mess for you? Precisely. The hedgehog groaned. Fine, but only because this affects us too. Perfect. Then let us enter the realm between. My assistant is already there waiting for us. Assistant? Why, yes. It is more efficient to commit evil with an assistant on hand. Whatever. Let's just get this over with, Eggman. Everyone began to approach the widening tear. The mad doctor smiled. All according to plan.
Oh boy.
Chapter end. I could technically
I
read the
can't say
next
my
one.
theories.
I could technically read the next one and leave off on the next one.
Yeah, but I also want food.
All right, then I will read this last thing. So, I want to drop this also because I know everybody is gonna be like, this is like everyone's favorite thing in like all of Sonic. I have to drop the lore now. I have to drop some of the lore. Prologue: The Man in the Mask. This is the prologue for War on Mobius, also known as Sonic Forces.
Oh.
I have to drop this. I have to drop this now. We need the. Hold on. I know what we need. Hold on. Give me a second. Give me a second. Legally use it.
Just a furious tapping.
Is this the music? Yeah, this is okay. Yeah, okay, okay. I forgot it started like that. Okay, okay. Oh, I know exactly who this man is based off of. The War on Mobius prologue, The Man in the Mask. Hidden by, and there's a reason I'm reading it now instead of after Timekeeper, bear with me. Hidden by a grove of trees near the grave of the girl with the golden hair, the ebony hedgehog watched his older counterpart with contempt. He clenched his fists as he recalled the news, the shock that his sister had been injured in such a way, the gut-churning worry as the days passed, the dead look in his eyes as he admitted failure. She was gone because of him. It was all his fault. There's callback to the end of Moonbeast. Still,
Mm-hmm.
the young hedgehog unclenched his fist, scoffing as the blue hedgehog scrambled to pick up the flowers broken by the wind. He averted his gaze, unable to bring himself to stay angry if he dared continue to watch. Whatever his feelings towards him, it was evident that he cared, that he felt some level of remorse for the life lost under his watch. Shadow looked down. Honestly, he didn't have much room to talk considering. Huh? Where are we going? You'll see. Shadow was pulled from his memories by the sound of the teenage fox dragging his brother away from the grave. That's right. Today was his birthday, wasn't it? And the 1 year anniversary since. So Forces begins with Timekeeper.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Don't worry. You can bring her more flowers later. I'll even join you. Flowers. Shadow watched as the pair of brothers walked off into the woods. Come to think of it, wasn't there a colorful field nearby she loved to visit? Shoo. Here you go. These were your favorites, weren't they? The ebony hedgehog knelt before the silent grave as he went to work, remembering seeing the girl running through the fields during one of his relaxing naps beneath some nearby shade. She'd been so happy and full of life, rendering him unable to look away despite the accidental intrusion. That was the Shadow Maria backstory chapter.
Got
Um,
it.
a fresh bouquet of flowers reflecting an array of color and light beneath the sunshine. Don't at me, writer. Now lay softly on the ground before the erected stone, tied together with a ribbon he'd purchased from town. Don't mind that blue idiot, though. I guess you would. He stood back up. His gaze falling a bit as he sighed. Anyone could see how much you cared about him. Shadow sighed, rubbing his head slightly. Maybe I could try doing the same. I know it's what you would want. Silence. It's just hard to forgive him, you know? But to be honest, maybe I just couldn't forgive myself. Shadow hugged himself, looking away. First Maria, then you. Silence. I know you'd both want me to move on, though. To be happy. It was Maria's wish, and then yours. Shadow smiled. And now mine. The sun shone a bit brighter in that moment. I guess I could show up. Though you won't catch me giving him presents or acting chummy anytime soon. He folded his arms, though he couldn't help but look back at the grave with a warm smile. I'll see you around, sister. Such meaningless words. Or such meaningless words. Music!
Oh boy.
Shadow turned sharply around, only to find no one behind him. He growled a bit under his breath in rage at the indignant comment. Who said that? Show yourself! Psst. All of this is simply meaningless. So, Shadow turned back around with a small gasp, his eyes widening as they fell on the figure seated comfortably atop the headstone, his head resting on his hand which rested atop his crossed leg. I wouldn't expect you to understand. Shadow glared into the Mobian's glowing eye, which was hidden beneath a pointed mask. His white hair flowed gracefully behind him as his lengthy tail swished in amusement. A curious gem lined his neck, glowing a sinister red as small particles floated about him. Though he couldn't see a mouth, the hedgehog immediately recognized the smiling nature of his eyes. He was taunting him. Shadow gritted his fangs. How ignorant you all are to the future that lies in wait. That's enough. What do you want? Shadow lunged, prepared to strike should he need to. What do I want? Why? How considerate of you thieves to ask. He glowed red, floating down next to the flowers beneath. Thieves? You and your pathetic friend stole something precious to me. My most precious treasure, in fact. He knelt down, picking up the bouquet and turning it over in his hand. Shadow summoned a chaos spear. Drop that now! This? Oh, it's the least of what I'll take in my revenge! On his last word, he clenched his fist, bouquet bursting into tiny flecks of red energy in his fist. No! He opened his clenched fist, remaining particles of red dust blowing free in the oncoming wind. Damn you! Shadow lunged, aiming to pierce the villain before he suddenly disappeared, a familiar blonde figure taking his place. Shadow? Maria? He hesitated, his spear freezing just mere inches from her terrified face. Shadow, why? Why are you attacking me? No, Maria, I was just... Too slow. Maria lunged, stretching out a red glowing hand and grabbing her little brother's face with a sinister grin. His eyes went blank, his arm dropping at his side as his chaos spear dissipated. Don't worry, Shadow. Now we can finally be together. Just a perfect family. His eyes slowly closed. Just forever. The hedgehog gasped as he opened his eyes, sitting up beneath the shade of his favorite tree and taking in the familiar countryside before him. Hey there, sleepyhead. Did you enjoy your nap? Shadow's eyes widened. He turned his head to face the kind and gentle voice. Her eyes widened with concern. Shadow? What's wrong? He wiped his tears, looking back at the girl in the pink dress with a smile and pulling her in for a sudden hug. Oop! Shadow! Maria! The girl with the sunshine hair patted his head lovingly. It's okay, Shadow. It was just a bad dream. We're together now. Everything is going to be okay. But was this right? What had he just been... Shadow! Hold on, I gotta pause the music. The girl with the golden hair waved from the flower field, a joyful smile lining her face as the locket around her neck caught in the warm sunlight. An older man then walked up next to her, placing a hand on her shoulder and smiling kindly. Shadow, my son, Papa. He reached out a hand as the hedgehog released a few more tears, taking his sister's hand and racing to them happily, reunited at last. His memories faded from his mind, a distant nightmare no longer able to harm him. His family was here, safe, together, forever. The red dome's energy glitched and crackled about as the masked jackal watched the hedgehog inside. His body floated there, sleeping, unable to awaken from such a peaceful dream. The figure rubbed the gem as its glow subsided, a sinister smile piercing through the mask covering his face. One down. He rose into the earth, flecks of red encircled him. The rest of Mobius will soon follow. He disappeared, leaving behind the glowing prison in his wake. For I am. The headstone, left cracked beneath the pressure of his energy, watched on silently as a few loose petals blew past. Infinite. To be continued.
my.
Yes! We are on forces. We are on forces. You have no idea what I have planned for Infinite. Oh my goodness. But yeah, what do you think about all that? And like, let me tell you, fanfic writers, it is either Unleashed or it is Forces. There is like no in between. People adore Infinite, like all the potential, and I'm hardcore giving him a different backstory than just I am not weak, and all that stuff, right? Like, oh, I gotta design. His name is Eno, and I gotta design Eno so much. But there is so much in this chapter that foreshadows like Infinite's actual backstory, and I'm like, ah! But yeah, your thoughts on. Wait, I told you what Infinite's backstory is, right?
I don't remember.
Don't guess.
I was like, I'm not going to guess. So, I'm going to probably get it spot on. So.
Yeah, don't guess.
It's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah, the plot video scripting is a re-summarization of the whole story. So like what I'll leave off on is yeah, like we have prologue, part 1 friendship, Alter Earth, Ways of Destruction, Art Chronicles, Friendships End, Alter Earth Adventures, Metarex, Hero's Purpose, Part 2 Family, Mobius Adventures 1, Shadow, Peaceful Days, Seven Rings, Moonbeast, Part 3 Healing, Lessons with Silver, Avalon, a lot of stuff that gets broken up in between. Avalon, Mobius Adventures 2, Timekeeper, Desperate Measure, Shadows and Smoke, Forever, War on Mobius, Silver Age, What Now? Part 4, Destiny, Mobius Adventures 3, Metal Virus, Tower of Death, The Other Side, Together at Dawn, Mobius Adventures 4, Get a Clue, which, I'm thinking about doing before the not in post series, and that is Murder of Sonic, not a saga, but just a fun little storyline. New
Yeah.
Horizon, which is Frontiers, Saga of the Ancients, and the end. Woo! And that's the end of the series. I am so excited. Ah! Ah! So yeah, how we feeling?
Good. Very
Yeah.
hungry, though.
What?
I said very hungry, though.
Yeah, I think this is a good place to stop. It's been a 3-hour video. Thank you so much, everyone, for
Yay.
watching. Wah, wah. And like, have a great day. Writer, do you have any
Yes.
final closing thoughts?
See y'all in the next one.
See you all in the next one. Peace out, homies. Woo!